Peace and love. Peace and love. Hello, everybody. The girls are back in town. I'm Sister Freedom. I know we've been going for a long time, but we is back. Big Mama in the house. Dots, you back? Did she come back, Dots? She has stepped off for a minute. So, Nene, you there?
You know I am. It's Friday. It's Friday.
It is.
Yeah, it is Friday, and I'm Nisha. So sit back and relax and enjoy this ride that Rob about to take us on.
Okay. Go ahead, Sharice.
Enjoy for the fantastic voyage.
Sharice, you got to introduce yourself, Sharice.
Yes, peace and love, family. I'm Sharice the Realist. I'm happy to be here as always. I love the Sisters of Unscrambled Minds, and shout out to the brother Raw Hayes. And yeah, let's get it. I'm excited.
I know that's right.
And it's D to the O to the T. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Happy Friday.
It's
What's good? What's good, Rod?
What's going on, Dice? I thought we was gonna have to stall for a minute before you showed up.
Well, because we was waiting on you, and then was waiting on you.
Well,
sorry,
look. I had told
y'all forgetting about Dulcie.
we ain't got Dawson sidetracked us now. Dawson gonna have to wait for a minute.
Okay.
So I told Big Mama when she called that Friday was really not a good day, but I was gonna do the best I could.
Yes.
Now see,
she'd be excited.
Why you had to tell that? You know I was gonna pull and tug and get you here. So that means
we do appreciate you for coming through on a Friday. Peace
that's
and
right,
love, everybody.
Right.
Yeah, I had some stuff to do today, and I didn't know if I was what time I was gonna make it in. So now I'm here. So
well, we see that you are looking sharp. We see that.
I'm just trying to fend off that spanking Dots was trying to get me.
When I come with the spanking, you listen. I'm telling you, it's 0-100. You have to be losing in this game.
Yeah, I heard the keys rattling before you got in the car. I was trying to stop you. Mama, don't get in the car yet. Hold on.
The longest she don't give you them whoopings I used to get with that switch.
Girl, you don't know about no whoopings. What you know about the stitching cord in the shower?
I know about all that.
Oh Lord.
About that, I'm not
gonna lie. Abuse.
Hey, look, the word abuse.
Hey, the word in the kitchen.
The word abuse wasn't invented when I was growing up.
Facts.
Oh, I can still remember the chicken.
It just means you was bad. It means that you were doing something you had no business.
Right.
My brothers got those kind of weapons because they didn't listen. They were hard headed, and a hard head makes a soft what, Rod?
I don't know if it make it soft, but it sure make a sore ass.
Oh Lord! I never
got beat like that before. My mama did.
That's abuse. Okay.
But
I'm telling y'all, I used to sing to my whelps. My used to be on my legs. I used to sing. I don't know why. She keep doing this. Which was the worst, the extension cord or the switch?
Extension cord. Well, it depends on what color the extension cord was. Because the brown ones, them little skinny brown motherfuckers, woo!
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I never anything like
that big orange one hurt, but it ain't that skinny brown one. That one sting, boy. That one feel like somebody hitting you with fire.
Well, we would all get our spankings at the same time, and my stupid behind be crying when it's time for me to get my whooping. But when my sister get her whooping, I'll be backing up. I don't know how that happened until it's my turn to come back around again. Well, we used to get towed up with that switch and that extension cord.
Girly
girl said green fresh switch.
Hey, this what I'm saying.
This was gonna tell your age. Who got whoopings with that orange race car track?
Oh no,
No, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing
that was
about
a bit
that.
much. Oh, did you ride? That's a bit much.
That it ain't bad as the extension cord, but it used to leave a very unique pattern. So when we went to school, we knew who got whoopings with the orange. We knew all the kids be on the yard talking, let me see yours, let me see yours. Yo, he
Yo,
got whooping with the orange track. He got a whooping with the orange track. Look.
yo, Desmond said 3 switches braided together. They had a weeping willow tree in the backyard. Yo, that's crazy. Y'all know what some weeping willow trees give, right? Ooh, y'all was
Oh,
bad.
here
That's
go one. Here go one. Who
y'all was
remember has to go get their own switch, and if you
Oh
bring
my
back something too
bad.
little,
Lord.
Then I bring back no stick one. Baby,
hey,
that's back in.
hey, that walk to go get that switch, I swear it felt like you was walking down death row.
What?
Oh my God. Go get your own switch.
What? You be crying and doing all that. You can't even get the cry out for doing. Remember those cries?
That is
Oh my
Oh, man.
God.
Mm.
I'm glad those are the old ways. Okay, nobody got time for that. Nobody got time to get
I used
beat
to
with
say
no
when I
goddamn
get
switch.
big, I'm
I'm
gonna
saying
be
a paddle.
I
A
used to
paddle. A paddle.
Paddle of wood.
Dean said the long walk. And the
She
tree could be right here. But it seemed
The
like
long
it
walk.
took forever to get there. I'm
But
telling
wait,
you.
let's shout out our people in the chat. What's up, y'all?
Yes.
Dean in the building. Desmond, BCU gang. I see y'all.
Okay.
George, Angela. Hi, baby. Brenda J. Jaleel 999. George. Empress Me's in the building. Alexis is in the building. Josiah, a Mary Gal. Hey, beautiful. Who else? Untouchable. Sage Mo. G Mac. What's up? Badwag? I don't want to mispronounce your name. I don't know. Milestones. What's up, you guys? Sapdet Amintet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your engine number 9 was the first in the building. Lakeisha and Orthella and Lily's grandbaby. Hey, y'all. I just wanted to say hi.
Yes, we're
We
so
love you guys.
happy to be back. We've been on vacation and doing
Peanut.
all kinds of
Bella
stuff.
Geechee in the building.
Yes.
Turtle Clan in the building. What's up, y'all? Girly in the building. Hey, y'all. All right.
Okay. All right. Y'all know we love y'all. Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna get started talking
Okay.
about those.
We can't get started until we let Dulcinea talk because I done already cut her off and then send Dot down a whole nother lane. Now we gotta come back.
Dulcie,
I already spoke. It's cool.
Dulcie do. Okay, let's get started talking about the most incredible, famous man in the world. Drum roll. Carrot head. No, Trump. And his executive orders and what he done swooped up change. So everybody on the panel happy with his changes?
They ain't done yet. Then can't nobody. They can be happy with what he done so far, but he ain't done.
He just getting started.
What you say, Nene?
He just getting started.
But are y'all
Yeah, he dropped 68 of them in less than 30 days. He dropped 68 executive orders. But yeah, so far, so good.
He dropped like 50 on the first day, didn't
Did.
Right.
He
he?
signed
Many,
the
many,
I don't think
the first day.
okay.
many men with that
Many,
food.
man. Hey.
Look, y'all, I'm going to say the first thing that I was kind of, it's two things that I was, one, I was negative. I was upset with it. I tried to bring that up to you earlier, Rod, about how he let all them people out of jail and this wiped away their charges like that. And was saying that they was holding them hostage. How long was it actually? 3 years?
And was Sister Freedom. They was. I'm sorry. They shouldn't have been having folks.
But wait a minute. Even if Trump, which I thought told him to do it, I thought Trump was a part of it.
You ain't never look at them videos I sent you.
I know, but I'm talking about prior to that. Okay, I'm talking about prior to that.
Okay.
Wait, you talking about those people be tortured?
Okay. Let's dig into what we're looking at.
What we talk about real
But
quick?
is that my boy, Ben Andre? I missed you. I missed you. Wait a minute. But they still was wrong. We're gonna not try to act like
No, stop. So freedom. Okay. Hey,
okay, I'm gonna be quiet and let you explain it because
listen. On the lines of demarcation, on the longitude, latitude, DC is directly the opposite side of Hollywood.
mhm.
What that mean? That mean that they's giving us theater and stage shows on one side, and they're giving us political satire and philosophical bullshit on the other side.
Speak on it.
Nothing you see going on in DC should ever ruffle any of your feathers because it ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right.
What Trump is doing in DC right now have more to do with us than the whole 200 and however many years they've been calling this place America. What he's doing, he's the CEO, like them city managers that came in 2008 and started liquidating all of the city assets because the city was closing down. He's closing the corporation. They have to close the corporation, but they can't close it without knowing what they got. All of the executive orders, that's just news to give you something to talk about while they go in there and put together Doge and sick they watch Doge on somebody and watch him go find out all of the frauds that have been defrauding the people using our money to manufacture inflation and overtaxing us in order to keep us impoverished as much as possible. So we can't never really come together economically because they're always attacking us in one form or another. Ain't none of these people supposed to be here. The judges don't belong here. They belong to England. The lawyers belong to England. They are all barristers.
Mm-hmm.
The Office of Land Grants and Land Patents, that's the landlords of England. They don't belong over here. We've been normalized into the Europeans' royal pattern of governance. Mm-hmm. Over there, the caste system wasn't skin color. It was economics. Over here, the caste system is skin color, which affects the economics. We not falling for none of that no more. Because all of it, what we seeing, Trump dismantling the corporation like he supposed to. Tear it down. They got to go. The United States is a corporation. It's not our government. It's an interim government, a police state instituted in an interim, what they call occupation, while both sides of the war try to settle the conflict.
Well, okay, so if you see something wrong, right, and you know that it's wrong, and you want to get in touch with Trump, right, or in touch with Congress to try to change some situations that just don't make no sense, how would you go about doing it?
Anything that I would try to change, I would try to change it as close to the grassroots level as possible. DC, when you get to DC, you fall into a cesspit of lobbying, backbiting, underhand payments, backdoor deals. There's nothing over there that's going to change nothing for us on our day-to-day life.
Well,
they're not going to
do something big. Like,
can I chime in real quick for a second and touch on that?
Go ahead.
Especially being from DC, because right now what's been going on is that like our mayor, she's under investigation. The entire city council was under investigation. And that's why they're trying to step in and abolish the Home Rule Act, because, you know, Home Rule gives DC the full-fledged permission to pretty much run the city. But now they're trying to go into a process of, you know, taking it back over and it being federally run. I think the last time that happened was in like 95 or something, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, all of these allegations are coming out around people who are supposed to be in these agencies and supposed to be doing work. For example, they have something called violent interrupters, these types of things that try to stop crime in our city. But instead, it's people taking kickbacks and money instead of actually doing what they're supposed to do in terms of making sure that they stop, you know, or help stop crime or help stop these kids from killing each other. But that's not what's been going on. So it's like when you have a corrupt situation going on, I mean, I don't know what else that they're supposed to do other than to step in the way that they are trying to right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's how I see it. Like, I mean, living here and seeing it, like it's a whole different ball game when you're right here in the middle of all of it. So I just kind of
Well,
wanted to kick,
And,
kind of.
it's not even DC no more. It's the military. It's the what is it called? The military something, Washington military something. It's not DC no more though.
Well, okay, the issue I was talking about, well, I work with a lot of elderly people,
Mhm.
sick people. And what I cannot understand is young people are allowed to get Medicaid. You know what I mean? That's not working or what have you, or even that is working, that pays completely, they don't have no bill. It's zero. You know what I'm saying? They medical medicines, whatever they need, going to any type of doctors, taking care of it. But the elderly have Medicare, right?
Mhm.
Medicare only pays for like part. It never hardly pays for the whole situation with the
Part A
elderly.
and Part B, yeah.
Yes.
Understand why it's backwards, where the elderly people who are on fixed incomes, you know what I'm saying, has Medicare and they can barely pay their bills with their fixed income. And you got them on Medicare, which have to pay co-pays, and
Mhm.
sometimes it don't pay for their insulin. Sometimes it doesn't pay for everything that an elderly person needs. And most of them have fathers that have fought in wars and all kinds of it. And I think it's backwards. You would think that the elderly people would get the Medicaid where their things are paid up because they can't afford to pay it. They got high co-pays and all this here. It's backwards. And I've been trying to figure out,
A lot of
is there,
elderly people get SSI and stuff too, Sister
that's what
Freedom. A lot
I'm
of
saying.
elderly people still get retirement, a lot of different things. And I think that does go into play when they're trying to figure out how much you pay for a copay or
It's,
whatever the
it's,
case
it's
may be. But I'm
not,
not saying it's fair, but I'm just saying usually that's kind of what it is because they getting a cute coin now,
no, it's no. Mm-mm.
Only the
from
ones,
I mean,
only the
it's people
ones,
I've been working with the elderly. I
yeah,
see,
only the
like
elderly that have a retirement package. They have their retirement insurance intact.
right,
But
but
that's why this is being exposed the way it is right now, Sister Freedom, because
Mhm.
of the fact that Social Security is supposed to work like that, like Sharice is saying, but they've been dipping and dabbling in that Social Security. They've been doing that since FDR, of being like, hey, you're doing this so when you retire, you'll be set because we're putting this money in the side for you. But they're using the money like what Elon is exposing. They've been taking this money. They have people that are 300 years old that are getting checks out of nowhere. Who are these 300-year-old Moses people that are getting Social Security
she said
checks?
Moses
It's
people.
it's
ghettoest thing
people,
ever.
it's the government dipping into those funds, taking those money out, and that's why there's not money for actual people at the end of the day
For the
because the
elderly.
government is being exposed for taking that Social Security. So
Because
they
it
should
makes
just
me
they
feel
should
bad
just
because
let us
on a
hold it
fixed
ourselves
income.
if it's like that. We
Because
let us hold it
everybody
ourselves.
doesn't have, like, some people are even young, but they're disabled, like paralyzed, right? And they got them on a fixed income. If you're on a fixed income, most of the time you don't get Medicaid, you get Medicare. It kind of doesn't matter. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't matter all the time how old you are to get, when you are considered disabled or what have you. And that money, if you didn't put any money in, that you're going to get what they're going to give you. Some people only get $900 or $700 a month. That's not enough for them to take care of themselves.
But Congress has got millions from that fund. Is the point? They're
Well, I
taking from
mean,
it.
I'm trying to figure out what I can do to start something to help the elderly people to be able to still keep their homes, because they're losing their houses. They're losing their things because they're on fixed incomes and they just can't afford nothing. It's
Mhm.
really bad for the elderly. And that's what I'm trying to focus on now. And I
Well,
What the
just I
government
was
is doing,
you know, what kind of ideas that anybody could give me on how to approach it? Because this is nationwide. It ain't something that's just happening in Delaware. It's happening where elderly people are complaining about this nationwide, and it doesn't seem like nobody is listening to them. Even when Velda Potter was running for mayor here, she was, complaining about how the elderly was being treated. And it's just a backward situation. And I'm trying to see what type of something I can start or go at it. They can't pay their bills. Even if they got $1,500 a month, if their mortgage is $900, their electric bill is $400 or $500. You know how it is in the wintertime. What do they have left? They can't pay co-pays. That's it's just, it's just a backward situation. So
You know, it was designed to make elders spend their savings on medical support. That's why it's like that. The purpose of it and the intent behind it is that the elderly, by the time they pass, they should be broke. They shouldn't
that's
have any. They
not
shouldn't have
right.
any.
Not right.
I ain't saying it's right. I'm telling you what it was designed for. And if you watch what's going on now, they ass has been audited.
And
Right.
not only that, they will take, if they need to go in a nursing home, they will actually take their houses and put them in nursing homes and just, like they
That's
make them.
another sharecropping scheme. That's another sharecropping scheme.
Yeah. But that's where the community comes into play at, right? Like how you're thinking of troubleshooting ideas, right? That's where the nonprofits come in. That's where the grants come in. That's where those community types of organizations come in to act as an insulator. Because I think one thing we have to always remember is that we're operating within a system. And, like Rod is saying, right? Like you have to think of it as what was the system designed to do, you
Mm.
know? And so when you come to whether or not it's right, that's a moral question, right? We know it's not right, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So in terms of just a solution, it would come from the community. But I
Right.
wanted to I wanted
I
to
like
get back
that.
to the
I like that. I like that.
I wanted to get back to the executive orders and stuff because I know Trump has been definitely on a roll with that, right?
Hmm.
And he's been running Sharice.
You've been running it up, man. I'm
He's been
telling
rolling them motherfuckers
you.
out. Okay. Your man's just been rolling them.
Then there's a reform for the elderly already. A lot of the things that people are asking for, they just haven't read these executive orders because Trump
Right.
is working on it. But they've had the money tied up in all this corruption. So that's the point, Sister Freedom. I'm saying he's working on it, but they have to find out where these funds have been going to cut them from other places so they can reallocate them to where they're going. But yes, there's executive orders in the works as you speak for exactly what you're talking about, Medicare for the
Right.
elderly. So they will
Hmm.
get
Yeah.
vouchers and they will not have to come out of pocket for those things. Trump is working towards that.
I hope
So
so.
I wanted to just go like because I'm not clear about all them damn executive orders your man's been rolling out because it's been a lot, right? I don't know if you guys can see it because I'm sharing the screen, so I'm not looking at you. Wait, hold on. And what's up, y'all? Coming in the chat. Make sure I hit the like button, please, please. All right. So these are these is the 37 executive orders that he signed between January 20 and January 27th within the first week, right? And so hold on. Can y'all see it? I'm sorry. I'm trying to okay. So Rod, if you hear anything that you want me to stop on, let your girl know, or anybody on Cherise, Dulcie, anybody, Nisha, if y'all see anything y'all want me to just stop on, let me know. All right. But I'm looking at some of these executive orders because oftentimes, like as I've been hearing it, it's been like a lot of fear mongering, like, oh my God, he's doing this, he's doing that. So I like to look at exactly what are some of these executive orders that he's been rolling out, like what is it for, right? So let's see, on January 20th, Unleashing American Energy, what it's about. This order encourages energy exploration and production on federal lands and waters. That's important. That's important. Okay. Including offshore, promoting critical minerals as well as fossil fuels. It lays out a policy to promote true consumer choice by removing regulations that favor electric vehicles, as well as safeguarding the freedom to choose among household appliances, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Because President Trump has long criticized efficiency requirements. So it reverses a number of Biden era environmental orders, because, Biden was really big on like the climate change and all of that kind of thing. So it reverses a number of Biden era environmental orders and calls for a freeze on the disbursement of some congressionally allocated funds while the administration reviews whether they're compatible with the new policy direction, right? So that's dealing with American energy. Okay. Um, another one, I'm going to skip that one because that one deals with energy again. So I'm going to skip that. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. In this order, as he did in his first administration, Trump is withdrawing the United States from the Paris Climate Accord and the Biden administration's U.S. International Climate Finance Plan. Rod, do you know anything about this, the Paris Climate Accord?
Not specifically, but you got to remember the first Paris Accord that established the United States, it didn't have nobody from over here on that signature that's organic to this land.
Mm-hmm.
We know it as a treaty of peace and friendship.
That's a fact.
But it was a ceasefire agreement between the French and the English to establish a working method for extracting our wealth. Mm. That's why they send more wealth overseas than they spend at home. That don't make sense to me.
Mm.
That's like living in your mama house using all their stuff up, but you send all of your money over to help all of your little girlfriends around town, and you won't spend none at home.
Right.
That's all they've been doing.
Y'all
right. Was diabolical.
Like, now this one here, this last one. Sorry, Sharice. I'm sorry, baby.
No, go ahead, baby. I'm sorry. I was just saying $50 million in condoms or whatever they said was going out to Gaza was crazy.
Man, they was paying $2,000 a cup for a cup of coffee. I'm like, what? They got gold in that coffee?
Okay.
That coffee bag make their ass smarter because what?
So now here's two that I want y'all, because this is I'm dealing with the DEI, and I know that there's a number of like boycotts going around that we are supposed to be boycotting, like not supporting Target, Walmart. On February 28th, no one is supposed to spend any kind of money whatsoever. You guys heard about that?
Yeah.
So
I haven't, but I don't have no faith in that stuff.
No.
So this one is reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. This order is aimed at increasing the overall efficiency of selecting and recruiting government employees. Agencies are directed to enact a process that prioritizes candidates committed to government efficiency and the ideals of our American public without consideration of race, sex, or religion. Okay? And even though he had plan to overhaul the DEI, there was a federal judge that blocked it. So it's not out yet. It's in court. What do you guys think of that? What do you think about his move to end hiring based on race, sex, or religion?
Wait a minute. Repeat that, Dots.
One of his executive orders, right? And this goes directly to this whole DEI, right? Department of is to increase diversity into federal positions, right? So one of his executive orders is aimed at increasing the efficiency of selecting and recruiting government employees. Agencies are directed to enact a process that prioritizes candidates committed to government efficiency and the ideals of our American public without consideration of race, sex, or religion. A federal hiring plan is due to agencies within 120 days. So no longer can, how before when you would apply for jobs or certain federal jobs, state jobs, and they would say, are you, they used to even ask, are you a minority? Or they'll ask like what your race is. This is saying that they should play no part of it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I know that when the matriarchy come in, it's going to be the best person for the job that's applying for the job. It's not going to be based on what you look like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
or what your sex is, or what your, if you have pronouns and
he done put a whole.
He's saying the executive order is only two genders.
Period.
That one they've been saying. That was the first one that gave me the Holy Ghost. I couldn't wait for him to sign that one.
That's right.
Yeah,
Here we
I
Let
go.
me
think
go
Here's
because
the executive order.
I'm
Sorry, and
sorry.
then I'm done, y'all. I'm done after this. So, defending women from gender ideology extreme. This is one of the first ones he did on January 20th that you're talking about,
Absolutely.
Rod.
Go Trump.
Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. This order recognizes two sexes, male and female, and mandates that the federal government assert biological distinctions between men and women and refer to individuals by their quote unquote sex instead of their gender identity. It further prohibits the use of federal funds to promote gender ideology because under Biden Harris, we know that there were laws instated, there was money, so much money given, right?
And don't leave your boy Obama out.
And
I was
oh,
just
you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
he was a pink flag swinging mofo.
he launched it. Oh my god.
Right, when he allowed them to, that don't ask, don't tell, he got rid of that. So
That
when
was in the military.
right, but that
That was
opened the door for it.
yeah, but that was so that they can put cross dressers on the front line so he can wear a skirt and a machine gun. I guess his balls needed some more air.
Uh,
Mm. I didn't know they was actually they. So if you a man and you wanted to be a woman in the service, you could put on a dress and all that.
At first you couldn't until they did that, until they passed that don't ask, don't tell. That's how you end up with a cross dress in general. I know you've seen the cross dress in general.
To me, that's the best executive order he did. Okay, come
yeah,
now.
I'm not really mad at that because I know, like, even as just as a woman and seeing this evolution of people getting their bodies changed and changing their sex to another whatever, all of this rhetoric around, oh, men get periods, and all of it is diabolical. Okay,
It's
so
crazy.
Them suckers was melting ice, putting ice up in they pink ice pops up in they. I don't know what these people call it. Now they got a period.
yeah,
I
it's
know I'm that
crazy.
old. God,
It's
today. I mean, are
crazy,
you serious?
and like even down to like women's sports and women's spaces, even the bathroom, all of those things, you know what I mean? Those things are sacred spaces. And when they
Disrespectful.
are being invaded, it is really a problem. So I am glad that he's shutting that down
Me
because
too.
I
Me
always
too.
bring it up all the time because I used to do professional cheer and dance, semi-pro, all of that. And even auditioning for those NBA and pro teams, it used to be hard just competing against the other girls, the other races, the girls. And now we got a man that's coming in with his wig on and all. No, baby.
Yeah,
No,
that's
baby.
ridiculous. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
but the only part I didn't like was he told them now because me and Dulcie was talking about this, and they can use X. Why X? When you know
Well,
the name.
no, not X is on their IDs, but they're actually getting their passports back, and passports are going to have their actual born gender. So they're getting their
What you say,
passports back
Dulcie?
in
Say
their
it again. The
uh
passport.
it,
What?
yeah, they were talking about X being on IDs, but they're actually getting their passports back. And it doesn't matter if they had a sex change or anything, they're getting their passports back and it's their original birth sex. So it doesn't
Wow.
there it's gonna say male if you were born male, it's gonna say W if you were born a woman. And you can't get that changed. So before they would let you go as far as to change your birth certificate. So no, you
yeah.
can't do those things anymore.
That is wow. They literally let them change their birth certificates.
Freedom, I thought you knew this. That's
No,
Yeah, they've
God,
been doing that.
I didn't know that about the birth
And
certificate.
that's why they going up. They're upset because they, now like even if when you go to jail, baby, no, you're not going to be able to change your stuff. I can't even believe that it was funding going to that.
Yes, they said that
Allowing people to
tax
do
money
that.
was going to them being able to do sex changes, and Trump said, "No, we're not doing that no more."
And they
The
And
sent
government
them
look.
and
to the prison that they're supposed to be at.
right,
The,
'Cause
the
wait a minute,
government
they was going to the prisons getting the girls pregnant. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
look.
it got to be
The
stopped.
government shouldn't have to pay to support the pacifier to support your mental illness.
Yes.
Oh, go off, Ron Hayes.
Because all that shit is mental illness.
Mm.
Yep, and they're going back to researching and calling it a mental illness and everything. And I would say because if you actually go to the Federal Registrar where these executive orders actually are in full, there's nothing that really shuts down DEI the way they're saying it. They do that to kind of trigger you as far as to use that language like, oh, he's trying to shut down DEI. It's actually saying bringing back merit based professionalism and it based on your merit. So when you read it, that's what it's saying. Like it shouldn't be based on religion, it shouldn't be based on sex, it shouldn't be based on race, it should be based on your merit as far as for any position or anything.
Right.
So I like that one, but my favorite is actually ending radical indoctrination from K to 12, and I think that's like his best executive order so far when it comes to education.
You
And if
mean
you
they ain't gonna be able to let drag queens come in and influence the children to be drag queens?
exactly, that's one of them, but also they're not going to be able to go about American history and make American history just be about white supremacy and all this other BS that they try to make American history about. And they're going to actually have to be truthful. What? Truthful about what actually went down in history. And that's all in the executive order.
Wow.
You know what's interesting is that they were down there at the Kennedy Center or somewhere around that area protesting because now he's the chair and now a lot of those drag shows and things that were going on there is going to stop. And like they're all upset. And I'm like, well, I mean, the Kennedy Center, y'all shouldn't be doing that down there. Come on now. Y'all shouldn't be having those kinds of shows
Listen,
in that prestigious building. It's
look,
ridiculous.
they was paying millions of dollars for a women's school in a country that don't allow women to have a school.
This is crazy.
And this is, I'm serious. He was saying this. And he was like, nobody's ever went to go check and verify that $1 was spent on a woman's school in this country. I'm about Afghanistan.
Mm.
Then I'm still waiting on one of the reporters to ask him what relation is this Bin Laden guy that got all these hundreds of millions of dollars from the taxpayer, and is he related to Osama? Because he sat there and laughed on a live feed and said they gave so much money to a Bin Laden, and not one reporter asked him one question about it. That's peculiar.
Mm. Yo, I have to
So wait, so let me ask a question.
because it still sounds muffled to me. I'm logging off and logging back on.
Okay. So Rod, let me ask you a question. So you see up here, and those who you mentioned a good one about the K to 12 education, because that is important. The declassification of records. So one of his executive orders is a declassification of records concerning the assassination of President JFK, Senator RFK, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. It says this order states it is in the national interest to release all records related to these assassinations without delay. Previous records relating to former President JFK have been released with redactions in 2017, which means they, information was blocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Within 15 days, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General will present a plan for the Kennedy records release. Within 45 days, they are to present a plan to the president on releasing the RFK and MLK Jr. records. So why would that be an executive order, Rod? Why do you think he would make that an executive order to declassify the records concerning those assassinations of RFK, JFK, and MLK?
You go back to Behold the Pale Horse, there was executive order was given to seal them into 2025. You take an executive order or act of Congress to undo an executive order or a ruling by the Supreme Court of unconstitutional nature of an executive order. So it was an executive order that sealed them. I don't care about those files. The files I want them to release? The COINTELPRO files. The COINTELPRO files is the war being fought against the 9 treaty tribes. And the tribal leaderships that's emerging, they capturing them before they emerge. That's all under COINTELPRO. Release them files. You want to release something. They released a lot of them under the Freedom of Information Act, but it's a lot of them that's heavily redacted, and there's a lot of them that they just haven't released them because nobody ain't told them to do it yet.
I don't think that those. I don't think those records would ever be released, though.
They will. They
You think
have
so?
to. They have to.
You have faith in that?
They have to release them. They got because all of this, everything that was part of this war effort. When we talk about, we've been at war for 500 years, and the war has evolved, but the people don't know they still in a state of war. So they going about their day-to-day business in the police state thinking this is normal. But that's because nobody don't know that before the 1800s, there wasn't no prisons over here. The first prison was built in Pennsylvania in like 1870 something.
They were like camps, right? Rod Hayes, like
No, the first prison, it was built by Quakers. And they originally created for the Quaker community, and then the government took it and ran with it. It was a replacement for what we call today house arrest. Mm. What they called in slavery was we was being confined to the family farm and nobody was allowed to leave. Then they took Big Mama name off the house and called it the Big House. Like we not gonna know that we needed to picket porches, wrap around picket porches for the babies. That's why they call us porch monkeys. All the babies we didn't have no cribs, no playpens. I mean, when they take them out the crib and they want to crawl around, they gonna crawl around on the floor in the house. Or in the summertime, when everybody outside, they bring the babies outside and put them under the shade of the wraparound porch. Now they can crawl around all they want on the porch. They ain't going out in the yard. But we, by us being so far removed from what we used to do, we can't even see how what we used to do was weaponized against us and used as tools of oppression. Everything that we did was either monetized, villainized, or flat out made illegal.
I think he wants to release the files because I know, like, it's sad too because people not even talking about his assassination attempt anymore. And I think that I think him trying to release these files will also show, like, obviously some governments who play here with MLK, RFK, and JFK. But then maybe we can get the understanding that it was some governments who play and trying to take him out too. So I just think
history. Right now, it was the corporate government was fighting the republic government. That's what the deep state versus the people of the republic was about. They're going backwards. We came in, we started off tribal common law jurisdiction. Then we ended up under the 1776 order of the Republic that overthrew the Continental Congress and it overthrew the Iroquois Confederacy and the Cherokee Confederacies. So all of those was merged into the United States Corporation like we agreed to it, but they knew we didn't because they wrote about it. Mm-hmm. They waged war on us. They even got where the government was putting bounties on us, but we think they're talking about somebody other than us.
I just wanted to ask Sharice something. Sharice, was you trying to say that you think that he was doing those assassination attempt situations so he can be something like MLK and?
Oh no, I don't think that he had anything to do with it.
No, not have anything. I'm saying, but you think he's trying to do in like some comparison or something like that?
Sure. I mean, because I think what happens is a lot of times is that we don't realize how much the government be at play with a lot of corrupt bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think releasing it and being transparent about it will, bring some insight into what's been going on all of these years. Like even before we was all born, some of us, was born. Mm-hmm. So that's
did y'all see the Hadassah complaint where she came out to say there's someone that's already exposing the assassination attempts and saying one of the major government officials were working with the CIA in Pennsylvania to try to do that assassination. Hadassah, she's been out making videos. Have you seen that, Rod Hayes?
You're supposed to be I think it's the governor of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the governor of Pennsylvania. Yep. So do you believe her, or do you think she's just doing it for clout, or do you think that's accurate?
I think she is the person that was given the task to leak the information.
Mm.
Everybody gonna call her crazy until they wait till this dude Cash Patel get done ripping apart the FBI. Because they didn't already close the CIA. You got to remember, COINTELPRO was a collaboration between Central Intelligence Agency and Federal Bureau of Investigations under the direction of J. Edgar Hoover.
So y'all actually think that it was not a setup. A lot of things be setups. I don't
I mean,
know.
I don't think it was a setup on his by him. I don't think that, but you know, who knows? Who knows with all of this stuff that goes on? But I just don't believe that.
It's in the script. His assassination was in the script before he ever took office.
Mm.
They had already
Yeah, and
put
it's
it.
Josh Shapiro. That's his
You
name.
think that he was planning his own assassination attempt?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so when I say it's in the script, this is what I mean. They gave it to us as a prophecy.
Reality show. The whole presidential thing seems like a whole reality show anymore.
It's 100% a reality show.
Huh?
It's 100% a reality show.
Yes, it just seems like it's so animated. Like
it's totally animated and it's totally scripted.
Yes.
But we keep believing that shit real, and that's where the problem coming in at.
Right.
We keep looking at them people in DC as if they some kind of way different from the people that make movies and music in Hollywood.
Right.
It's the same but different.
Hence,
They all
the
claim the
Truman
same
Show.
thing.
The Truman Show is what it really is for real. That's some real stuff. If y'all haven't watched the Truman Show, watch it. With Jim
I am
Carrey.
Nisha. Now that you said it, I am going to try to take a look at that. Everything about it just seems like a whole reality show to me. Like I don't know what to take serious anymore because I've been wanting to talk about these airplanes.
None of it. Don't take none of it serious.
Well, what about these airplane crashes? I mean, something's weird with that.
Okay, I'm not saying that some is not weird with the airplane crashes, but that has nothing to do with politics in DC.
You don't really think so?
Not directly. It's indirectly related, but it's not directly. It's part of the same conflict. And these people will F somebody up in order to push their agenda. They blew up John Africa because he wouldn't go along with the agenda. Let that sink in. They blew this man and his whole family up, Philadelphia move, because he didn't want to go along with their agenda. He wanted to be free, and he wanted to live as a free man in this society. And they told him, "No, we can't have none of that freedom shit going on." And then they started trying to murder them all. That's an act of war. That's not no policing. That's war.
Yes.
He ain't the only one. Look, Joseph Sinque was trained by the CIA to get a group of black boys to start a black army to fight against Charles Manson's family and start the race war to set off Helter Skelter. Joseph Sinque, a.k.a. Calvin DeFries, and Charles Manson both did exactly the opposite of what they was told to. They locked Manson ass up for the rest of his life, but they blew Calvin DeFries up, Sinque. They blew his ass up. Literally, like on the 6 o'clock news, building going up and big old mushroom cloud of fire and smoke blowed his ass up. They ran up in there on them Panthers and shot the shit out of them in New Jersey, in California, in New York, in Chicago, then murdering them.
But listen,
that's not policing, that's war.
Right, but listen, just like Asiatic 777 said, first it was the drones. They was going all crazy all over.
That was to desensitize you from the orbs.
But right after that, then the plane crashes. Like,
look,
and all this happened when Trump came in office. That's the reason why I'm saying something's a little weird with that.
Okay, so they got two factions at war. They got two factions. One faction don't want to surrender the power back to us. Right? And then you got the part that the faction Trump working for that don't give a F what the other faction want. And they already know that when they on their way out and they know they lost and ain't nothing else they can do, only thing left is chaos. They're going to keep trying to cause chaos. I keep telling these people, y'all think I'm playing, get your babies out of these people's schools because they next. But everybody just think I'm just talking. They think I'll be just talking. They keep telling us. They just dropped a movie about the school shooting crisis to bring it to the forefront of everybody mind that your child not safe in school that's about to come out.
And I'm glad you said that, Brother Raw Hayes, because even Trump is even putting in incentives so people can homeschool their kids. And maybe there's a reason for that too, so that we can pull them out and do what we need to do on our end, because obviously, we are really in some real unforeseen danger. So, I mean, like, I appreciate him putting in incentives so that we can homeschool our kids and attempt to do it, because we do need more of that versus the indoctrination of K through 12 education. So yeah, I totally, I get what you're saying. And yeah.
And the planes is just a continuation of the chaos on the way out.
Yeah.
The deep state, as they call the side that's losing, they call them the deep state. They the ones responsible for sending all of the American wealth around the world, but don't spend none over here. How you got the wealthiest country and you ain't nothing but a third world country with a Gucci belt?
Trump done cut off everybody. A lot of people he's been cutting them off.
With a Gucci belt.
Crazy.
Yeah, but y'all speaking like Trump has. Hello?
Hey, welcome. Say hi first.
We hear you. Hello.
Okay,
how you doing?
My name is Chosen Kemet. I go by Not Yet We Are. And I'm listening to you guys talk about Trump do this with these executive orders and everything, and nobody's talking about the fact that he's in the pocket of Israel and the Ashkenazi Jew. You know what I'm saying? He's not really doing, it's all smoke and mirrors. And the attempt on the assassination tips and everything else was smoke and mirrors, so white people would look at him like a hero.
I'm not. So you can. I'm not. What you? I mean, what about? Why you think that you making that statement? Like,
well, that's a good point, because Trump does support Israel big time. That is a point to be made.
The Jews in Rome are the ones who are still in control of everything. Excuse me, sis, my bad.
Mm-hmm. No, that's okay. I just wanted to say that is a valid point. Rob, what do you have to say to that?
He would have been 100% right about 4 years ago. But as far as Trump is a verbal supporter of Israel. He said out his own mouth. So anybody tell you that Trump didn't say he was a supporter of Israel, they'd be making it up, because he said it out his own mouth in front of the people. I don't know which Trump it was, whether it was the skinny Trump, the fat Trump, the dumpy looking Trump. It's like 4, 5 of them. I can't keep track. They keep switching him out so much. But the reality is if they tell them people in Gaza to leave, if Trump behind telling them to leave, just remember me telling you this. When everything is said and done, the dragon whips his tail.
So, Kemet. So you're not really fond of Trump. What are you saying?
I'm saying that Trump is just like the last president the United States had was Kennedy, and he was killed by the Mossad and the CIA and the Dallas police. Mm-hmm. See, I live in Texas, so I've been to the museum and everything where it happened and everything at.
It was so many people in on that assassination that wanted him dead.
Right, the mob too.
The mob wanted him gone. Castro wanted him gone.
Yep.
Yeah, Russia
and
wanted
my
him gone.
history teacher was actually Harry Oswald's best friend. And so he was teaching us back then how it was all conspiracy. You know, Harry Oswald is like a librarian, and how they set him up and said he was on top of a roof somewhere because he was a librarian and was able to do it. And now they're saying it was in the car. It would have to have been in the car easy, but I've always
they got another alternate view from the similar to the Zapruder tape that's showing the driver shooting Kennedy in the head.
Right. But I definitely see that as far as Kennedy, I guess I would say that he was more so trying to be like for the people's agenda and not actually do what the powers that be essentially wants
Okay,
you to
look,
do.
here's
And
the thing.
the president has to do that. Like when you say that someone is for Israel, what American politician is not for Israel? Isn't Israel American?
John
I
F.
mean,
Kennedy
did
wasn't.
they? Yeah. So like what, I guess, what would it be without that, like going against the government as a whole? Or
They said the video out.
oh yeah, of the different view I think they're talking about.
Oh, my bad. Look at me. I just
Showing
go back over
that
here and read the
he
comment. My
got
bad.
killed in the car. But what would it look like to
Sharice?
for like someone to go against Israel? How would we even get the government to go against Israel? Or would that have to be like turning down the American system altogether?
But those things, why is Israel that America has to take up for Israel? I always wonder.
Because
they put them there.
started it.
They put them there.
Exactly, they put them there
Because the Rothschild
they
family.
started it in 1947, right? Or
48.
48.
48.
Yeah, so it's American. Israel is American.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I'm trying to figure. I thought it was the whole Bible thing because I'm trying to figure out why.
No.
No,
Rothschild family went over there and
not at
said
all.
that land's gonna be called Israel, and or it's gonna be called. They bought the land, the Rothschild family, and what they did was being puppets because they're not even really in control like people think they are. However, they are one of the richest families, though, over $500 trillion, because that Federal Reserve Bank belongs to them and I think Rockefeller.
Used to.
Why you say used to, brother?
It's been liquidated.
What does that mean?
It's gone. The Federal Reserve is done.
So what you're saying is, Dulcie, you said they're Americans, so they're not really. So are they fake or fake Jews over there? So
she's talking about the establishment of Israel. 1945, the United States got with Britain and France to form the first, convene the first United Nations meeting, where they established the United Nations, drew up the charter. America was not allowed to be, because of the Constitution, an official member.
Right.
So they became a permanent seat as a guest on what they call the Security Council. So once they got that, they started going and recruiting other nations, and they had 10 destinations, 10 areas around the world that they picked to set up and establish the state of Israel. Right. This was the continuation of World War I's Balfour Declaration, where they agreed to finance the war if they would establish the state of Israel. And so they carried it out. In 1948, they went in. Back then, the West Bank was half Egypt and half Syria, I think. And they bombed the shit out of them. And then they moved all of the refugees from Germany and Poland and all that to set up the state of Israel over there. That was actually the lines of demarcation for modern Israel was carved out by a Negro. I think his name was Ralph Bunch, if I'm not mistaken. But he was the one that went over there, and it was because of his report that they settled on putting it in the Middle East. But it was 10 different locations, and they all listed online. You can look them up. That was potential sites for the state of Israel. The reason why they picked that, because the Saudis had not too long before that discovered oil, and they knew that under the West Bank would be a sizable deposit of oil.
Regina Milton said there's a lot of background noise. So
Regina, not muted up.
Huh?
Because people are not muting. I think the brother that just joined us just got to mute up. When somebody's talking, we have to mute up.
I can mute up too, but were you finished, Rod? I apologize if I can't.
I just wanted to show the map. When you was talking about Rod about the territory with of it first being Palestine in 1946, and then what happened over just how much land Israel has taken control over from 1946 to today. It's real. So there's no such thing as, oh, why is America taking care of Israel? It has no choice. It has to take care of Israel.
No, the reason why I said that is because when Dulcie said they were American, I was like, so just like how they did Liberia and sending people there. So I was wondering if she was saying that they were Americans, so they weren't really Jews, or they weren't really, because
Well, let's put it like this. This might
what
help you.
Dots showed was there were Palestines over there.
Well, okay, the land
First
was
thing it said Palestine, Dots.
Yes, that it was called Palestine. That's correct. So after the war, right? As a way, well, how history kind of purports it is that after the war, it's this thing of, oh my God, we feel so bad. Germany, how dare you? Look what you did during the Holocaust to these Jews. And Jews, well, the Ashkenazi, those that identify Israel, not those that you would say look like us, but like Ashkenazi Jews, and even some Sephardic, needed a place to go. And so, ultimately he's trying to break down how it happened, how the land was chosen. But ultimately from 1946, where you see the territory listed as Palestine, to where we are today in 2025, Palestine is pretty much wiped off the map. And he's giving the reasons why that is.
And I think that's causing a lot of wars over there too, between those.
Well, it's occupied land. Any territory that's occupied by a foreign force, and the original people is still resisting the foreign force, that war not over until the original people are either totally annihilated, or they surrender, or they leave. That's the only way you can take somebody else's territory. So what Israel been doing is creating conflict. We got to remember the CIA and the Mossad, the KGB before the fall of the wall, MI6, MI5, all of them work together to fund, finance, train these people that they keep telling us the terrorists. They the instigators of the warfare, the conflicts. And all of the money, most of the money that comes from for funding them come from over here. That go for Al Qaeda, that go for ISIS. ISIS was created and funded under the Obama administration. Then you got Hamas was created and funded by the Mossad to try to replace the PLO. All of those so-called terrorist organizations, and we forget that when Russia was fighting the war against Afghanistan, America was financing the Mujahideen, and then they turned around and that's who we was going to war with. America was going to war with the Mujahideen when they was bombing Afghanistan. Now they taking all this money over to Afghanistan with no cause.
Nothing.
Who they hold out money to? Why they giving them all of these billions of dollars? Because it's more than millions. They was taking over like what's they say, $50-60 million a week to Afghanistan. Who you giving it to? They was giving it to the farmers that they was paying to produce opium poppies so that they can flood the American community with heroin. And then they found out how to refine heroin and turn it into some other stuff that they call fentanyl.
And weren't all those Mujahideen, especially in Afghanistan, I know Osama bin Laden, when they trained in School of America, and when they given the medals of honor.
The CIA set up a military training resistance in Iraq, because Iraq was America's ally at the time. And the United States military was trained in the resistance of the Mujahideen to fight against the Russian forces that was coming into invading from the north. Right? See, they were struggling and fighting for a pipeline, or oil pipeline from Uzbekistan to the Red Sea. And that's how Kuwait got caught slant drilling into Iraq. That caused the Iraqis to bomb Kuwait in the first Gulf War in 91. Right. And because Hussein had put a hit out on the old man Bush, his son got to be president. He wanted some get back. He hooked up with Dick Cheney,
Right.
owner, executive of Halliburton, because he was going to get all of the rebuilding contracts to make him hundreds of billions of dollars in the reconstruction of the infrastructure of Afghanistan and Iraq post-war. All of them was in on it. That 9/11 shit was an inside job 100%.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Yes, Rob. What do you think about all these different people like George Soros? And what was the person that he that had something to do with the vaccinations? I cannot think of his name.
Fauci.
Yeah, that's Fauci.
Fauci.
Crimes
What
against humanity.
now? And what's going on with him and Bill? No, what's his name, y'all? Y'all know him tomorrow. All of a sudden, people online now saying they enemies. The rich guy.
Bill
Gates.
Gates.
Come on. What's his name?
You talking
Bill
about Gates?
The one, no, not Bill Gates, the other one. The one that got the little boy that's supposed to been saying all the stuff in the office. Oh, I can't call his
Oh,
name.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. So what do y'all think about the different people that's now in office that got a lot of control? They said Elon Musk is just as powerful as he is. That's what they're saying online.
Listen, Elon Musk got a bone. Elon Musk is doing everything he can to rebel against his father. See, if y'all know how the pale face operate, because I grew up with them, and the sons, for some reason, always got to try to conquer their father. That's like a way they wired, especially when they rich. I grew up around poor ones and rich ones and middle class ones. The rich ones, they trying to conquer their father. Elon Musk take on that personality trait. He don't agree with his father's participating in the apartheid regime of South Africa owning the emerald mines. That's where their money come from. He took his cut of the family fortune, left, and got into tech and finance. That's why he ended up with PayPal and all that stuff. And so his father want him to be instrumental in the new Boer movement to reclaim South Africa from the South Africans. He didn't want no part of it. That's why he in America. And so when he come over here, billionaires hang out together. He meet Trump and they hit it off. Elon Musk, he's restricted. It's only so much stuff he can do. But whether it's Elon Musk, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Bill Clinton, no matter who you see in Washington, they're a puppet.
Right.
And don't none of them call no shots. They just taking the credit for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't think that Elon Musk put a lot of money up to help Trump win the presidency?
I bet he did. He didn't need to, though, because he was going to win regardless.
Right.
Right.
But he probably did give him a whole ton of money. But that ain't why he got his position. He got his position for his skill set, what he know how to do.
Right.
He know how to run down them lost dollars.
So do you think it was right for him to put Fauci in? You know, Fauci was part of the whole situation with the COVID thing and all that. Do you think it was right for him to give him such a position?
Who?
Fauci and
Kennedy. Because he ain't giving no, he ain't just giving no, this, after this election, he ain't put Fauci nowhere.
Yeah, he just pardoned Fauci, so now all the things that were going to go against him.
No, that was Biden that's supposed to pardon.
Yeah, pardoned him before he left, but he's up in no position.
Oh, he's not. I thought Fauci had a position. Kennedy.
He gonna have a position.
Kennedy that has the position on health.
Who?
Yeah.
Who
Kennedy.
is it?
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
Kennedy. That's
but
what
look, Fauci gonna have a position, but it ain't gonna be where you think.
Well, I mean, what the heck do Kennedy know about all that he got the position for? But I'm saying his family talked about him so bad during the election. I mean, his family say he's a complete opposite of his father. His family came on talk. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but his family talked they talk some talk about him.
Well, people are going against him because he's against big pharma. Like he's taking on the major number one enemy of the state. So, I mean, like I'm for him.
Hey,
When you
let's
start
track that.
talking about big pharma,
Not
he's
just
going
big
against
pharma, the
it.
food too.
But
Exactly. He's talking about how health, it's not supposed to be maintained by the amount of pills, by the amount of shots that they put in people. It's about how you eat, how you live, be healthy. That's what Kennedy is for. That's why he was put in that position and going against big pharma. And that's why all the people that are falling under big pharma is going against them, calling them crazy, saying, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, all this other stuff. When he said, oh, Black people have strong immune systems, they're not supposed to be having all these vaccines like this. Oh, how dare he say that about Black people?
Right, and people got upset about that.
That's true.
I
That's
didn't understand it. Yeah,
They got
I just
upset
it
about
was also Brooks being from Merlin. It was like, girl, what are you doing?
Wait, say that again. Say that one more time.
No, I said Angela also Brooks is from Merlin, so it was just kind of like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what?
Oh
It
yeah,
Wait, say that one more time.
Kennedy said Black people's immune system are strong and
Oh,
they're not
right.
supposed to be taking all these vaccines and all
That's
these
right.
shots and everything. And Black people were in an outroar about it. Like, how dare he? How dare he say that?
He's
He doesn't want us to be healthy. What?
Right. Our systems is we are not created equal. Our systems is different. We shouldn't be taking the same thing that y'all taking. We different.
Right. I'm with you on that, Nene. Go ahead, say it, girl.
I mean, these people, I mean, for real, people that look like me, some of y'all need to get it together.
Okay.
Mentally.
But it's the propaganda. We fall for the propaganda so fast. It's just like all you have to say is, oh, they're against us. He's trying to have us die quicker and everything. And everyone's like, oh, Kennedy is horrible. And they're not even listening to what he's saying because he's trying to bring in natural healing.
I remember that. That was crazy. Did y'all see that video of okay, hold on. I want to show y'all a quick video. Tell me what y'all think of this. Because you know, you hear oftentimes about Trump being racist and X, Y, and Z, all right? So wait. One second.
Don't start. I've been nice to Trump now. Don't get me started. I've been nice to Trump.
No. This is with Angela Stanton. I know some of you probably have already saw this little clip that was making its way. Caught on Jesse Lee Peterson. He a fool, but I just thought it was interesting.
Jesse. I love Jesse.
Jesse is a mess. Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Tell me if y'all can hear it.
The Great White Hope.
Y'all hear
Pardon
it?
you, Donald
That
Trump.
him, the great white, no poor little Black woman like me, so I can reclaim my life and start over again. Not only did he give me a full and unconditional pardon, but he also made it illegal for them to chain women to the bed during childbirth. And then he passed the First Step Act. And then I walked in a list of 100 names of people that needed to be freed, and he freed several of those people before he left office. And these people are trying to convince me that I'm supposed to vote for the Black woman who locked everybody up instead of the white man who freed everybody.
What a mess.
A mess.
When they call Donald Trump a racist, what do you think about that?
I feel like that's the kind of racism we need. And so for this man who is such a racist, who not only gave me a fresh start, gave Kwame Kilpatrick a fresh start, gave Alice Marie Johnson a fresh start, you know, pardon Kodak Black, Lil Wayne.
The Great White Hope.
I'm gonna let it play one more time.
That
Trump.
him, the racist. Pardon the old poor little Black woman like me, so I can reclaim my life and start over again. Not only did he give me a full and unconditional pardon, but he also made it illegal for them to chain women to the bed during childbirth. And then he passed the First Step Act. And then I walked in a list of 100 names of people that needed to be freed, and he freed several of those people before he left office. And these people are trying to convince me that I'm supposed to vote for the Black woman who locked everybody up instead of the white man who freed everybody.
What a mess.
A mess.
When they call Donald Trump a racist, what do you think about that?
I feel like that's the kind of racism we need. And so for this man who they claim is such a racist, who not only gave me a fresh start, gave Kwame Kilpatrick a fresh start, gave Alice Marie Johnson a fresh start, you know, pardon Kodak Black, Lil Wayne.
Okay. Did y'all hear that?
Okay.
Did y'all hear that? So what do you
Yeah,
think?
Girly was saying just that the labor thing's not true. I was wondering about that because I was like, damn, I haven't even heard that
Yeah.
get tied to the bed. But yeah,
Yeah, they
definitely
did.
that sounds like archaic
Girly
stuff.
girl said Trump didn't do that. She said that was already a law.
Yeah, that was
Stop.
already law. Yeah,
But in
but
terms
he
of
did
him
pardon
pardoning,
those people for sure.
yeah,
He pardoned,
Well,
yeah,
he
as
also
Kodak
pardoned
Black
some. He
said, he
pardoned all
pardoned a
them
lot of
people
them.
who was on the Capitol.
Yeah, and he pardoned a lot of black women too that for different things. That you know I ain't
yeah.
gonna say no names, but other people would have locked them up for it.
That's
Mhm.
He did
right.
not pardon them. So
That's right. That's right. Well, so y'all are in the chat. Y'all liking this conversation. We happy to see y'all here.
Ooh,
262 of
what
y'all in the
happened? God
building.
done fell off.
Yeah, he'll be back on. He
Okay.
dropped off. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll come back on.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
let's
And
see.
anybody that's interested in doing a show with us, please put your information in so we can contact you because I see a lot of things. Hey, Rod. A
Did you
lot of
see the video, the clip I just played,
people
Rod?
Yeah, yeah. Somebody had called and it made my volume drop so low I couldn't hear y'all, so I had to go out and come back in.
mm-hmm.
put him back on the top, Sister Freedom. You can switch
I
him
am.
with me, and then yeah.
So, so, so what I'm hearing is everybody's feeling like Trump is starting off good. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, no, you know what I would say? I think that, and I always say this, I think that he's doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And, and I've said this before. I think that, they're, in my opinion, they're all demons, right? I just
Yep.
think that people are used to the demon that you don't know or the devil you don't know. We're used to people coming in front of us, smiling, shucking, and jiving, and saying what we want to hear. And then behind the scenes, going about it as usual. Whereas you have somebody saying, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do," and he's actually doing it. I mean, like I don't want. For me, I'd rather operate with the devil I know than the devil I don't know. But that's just me.
Well, I still, I don't know what to believe anymore and what not to. And I'm trying to figure out which is correct and which isn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the fake news from the real news anymore. I just gotta just wait and see what happens.
But I'm
Because
not going to operate in fear. But I think also I'm not going to operate in fear, and I'm not going to act like, "Oh my God, the world is falling. Oh my God, the next 4 years are so dangerous. Oh my God." Listen, we have gone through how many centuries of hardship, of
yeah,
war upon us. I mean, this has been our life. If nothing else, we are survivors. So I don't fear anything. I don't think the next 4 years are going to be any worse than they have been, in my opinion, than
hmm
what than what our people have gone through for centuries. I mean, we
right,
bred for this. Life goes on.
absolutely.
But I can say I like the stuff that he's doing. I don't see any bad that he's done, and I can't say that there's something that I'm opposed to right now that he's doing so far. But this is just the beginning, I guess. As time will tell, but so far so good.
Mm. Well, like I said, I have to admit that I agree with some of the things that he's trying to do. But I also was wondering why ever if he's seeing that the prices are going up on foods and things like that, what is he doing to try to bring it down? Is it because we usually do trade with different countries? You know
Nope.
what I mean? And now excuse me, he's stopping the trading. So now it's making it's not enough coming in, so it's making things go up higher. I've been trying to figure out how why this
You
is going
you
on.
gotta know how inflation works. Inflation is predicated upon the number of dollar notes in circulation in relation to the amount of money that is being spent. When they
Hmm.
call themselves adjusting the interest rates, they changing the value of the dollar at its source. That's why back in the 50s or 60s, a candy bar was a nickel. They $2 now. Uh, Everything over a nickel is inflation. And inflation is a side effect of fractional reserve banking. It's the hole at the bottom that keep leaking, and they instead of patching it, they try to make it worth more on the top. It's illusionary theft. Your
Mhm.
money being stolen from you through a nutrition model that gradually creeps up, and before you know it, you broke.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand a little bit, but I'm just saying, how's he gonna fix it?
First, you got to find out where the money going. That's what the audit is. You got to know where the money going in order to stop the leaks. Instead of nobody ever tried to stop the leak, they only just opened up another pipe. That's why you got all of these different agencies getting all of this money for foreign aid, and they sending money around the world. That's so that the dollar can circulate globally to give it an artificial value. The US dollar is a fiat note. It doesn't have anything backing it
Nothing.
but air.
Yep. Since 1933, but that they got rid of the gold and silver standard. But I know you were saying this before, Sister Freedom, about inflation and saying, is it the American First policy that's causing it? But inflation had already been out of control. I mean, like we were experiencing $20 for eggs during the Biden administration, so inflation was already out there. So it's true what Rod is saying about the eggs, but what you were saying as far as with the international thing, the problem was is that when we had our products and we're going to try to get our products imported into different areas or different countries, they're applying a tariff on our products. They're making us pay for
Mhm.
our products to be anywhere else, but for their products we weren't making them pay anything. We're just taking their products in and everything and that's what was shutting down our factories here,
Right.
us making things, different things like that. So that's a major problem because if you aren't supplying people with jobs here, but you're still increasing inflation, how is that going to help with consumer spending? They don't have the money to spend. So what he's saying is now that we're going to start applying tariffs first off to say, hey, no, if you want to sell your goods here, there is going to be a tariff applied to you. And as well, he's saying there's going to be tax cuts if
Mhm.
you start your industry back here and it's American made. So that's not what's causing inflation. That's something he's trying to do to combat
Mhm.
the
And if
tariffs.
everybody has noticed, I don't know if I think this is nationwide. Okay. Taxes went up, everybody's mortgage went up, all this, it just seems like instead of things going down, they all went up.
But also, we got to remember because we're globally interdependent, right? So we forget that other countries in the world have been dealing with terrible economy, high inflation for decades now. It's going to have an effect, right? We don't operate in a nucleus. We're globally interdependent. That's important to remember as well.
Mm.
But see, the Trump model forces us to do first domestic work before we trade overseas. Like, for instance, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler make the cars. It's going to be so much cheaper to buy a domestic made car that you ain't going to even want a Volvo unless you're a trillionaire. Mercedes Benz, Infinity, a Lexus, all of those cars are over here from what we call free trade agreements. The European models come through the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, where I don't know why they call it that, because most of the trade that they was giving concessions to was in Europe under the European American Alliance. What they call that? NATO, right? But they call it the North American Free Trade. It was supposed to only be Canada, United States, and Mexico that don't tariff each other. But the benefits of that leaked over to other places too, because they started using it as a precedent to allow them to give other people concessions. So now you got Japanese in the Pacific Trade Agreement, and the Chinese and the Koreans and the Vietnamese is making a killing on us because they're killing us with the labor force.
Mhm.
So all of the American business start trying to get a factory over there to get their products built over there because the tariff coming back in was worth them to support the slave labor. It's the same with cars built in Mexico that's to be sold in North America. They moved all those plants, Ford, Chrysler, GM, to Mexico and to get that cheap labor so that they don't have to pay the worker in America. And this is only possible through taking the tariff off foreign goods while they still taxing and tariffing the goods that we export. Then you have other stuff going on with the farms. Like they got more farmers paid not to farm than they actually have farming. That's in order to use the GMO model to mass produce nutrition depleted food at an alarming rate in order to feed a whole bunch of people. You filling their stomachs up, but you're not giving them no nutrition. That's what Robert Kennedy's job is, right? Speaking of Robert Kennedy, when you want to know why his family have an issue with him, you just backtrack. Where do their family money come from? The Kennedys, they come from mafioso. The Onassis is the other side of the family that came in under Jacqueline when she married Aristotle. He was a shipper, right? He had ships. And what do shippers ship for the most amount of money? Oil. So, of course, anything that interfered with the petrodollar, because America's dollar was only secured by its ability to maintain Aramco and OPEC currency standard as the standard of trade for oil. Now, when we talk about third world countries and other countries, you look at it like you could take $100 to Mexico and you might get 2,000 pesos. And them 2,000 pesos, you spend up, buy up a whole bunch of stuff over there and cash in, then they give you back a couple of dollars, but you got $3,000-$4,000 worth of goods for a little bit of American money. That's because of the inflation of Mexico. There's no reason the people of Mexico need to be poor, but they're not allowed to trade in their goods from the Mesoamerican War and being put on embargo. They're not allowed to trade oil on the national world stage, but they produce just as much oil as the Middle East. So we rather ship the oil from the Middle East than let Mexico get some money just on the south of the border because they're too close. It's all kind of dirty dealers playing this game, and we not understanding the game, so we can't even play. We could just talk about the people that play it.
We not understanding the game. Ding, ding, ding.
Rod, what do you think about when they say we're $40 trillion in deficit? And what do you think about that national deficit?
A deficit is only a year's loss. And they got a national debt that's the carryover from all of the losses of previous years. They owe that money to us. That's who the debt is. The debt is to us, the tribes of the land, us. They owe it to us. They got to keep a record of everything that they're doing. So when they give it back, they got to have an accounting of where the money went. Right? You can pull out an almanac. Most people don't know this. You could pull out an almanac and you can look at any country in the world and you can see how much money America give them in economic aid. And then you can look at how much they put back into the country from all of the countries they finance around the world. And then you do a comparison to how much they actually use over here. And you're going to be so pissed off that you say, well, why is they sending all this money around the world when we need to be taking care of home first? That's because they don't belong here. They not us. They don't belong on the land. They just here occupying our territory, and when they're using our land and the resources of this land as the bank that they got a bottomless pit to, because we ain't never been poor until they came over here. We didn't know what poverty was. We didn't know what prison was. They brought all that with them. That's all military orchestrated by a foreign military agency. The president ain't who people think he is. He's not a civilian leader. He's a civilian elected leader of the military. Only thing he in charge of is the military. Everything he doing every executive order is a continuation of a martial law that was declared years ago. That's why they can't overturn most of his orders, because they're in the continuation of martial law. We don't even know we under martial law, been under martial law since the gold collapse. We've been in the police state, occupied territory. If you don't understand occupation and being occupied by a foreign agency, you will never understand what's going on in this country.
I wanted you to see that. What I put up there.
Look, they produce so much more. That's pennies. That's pennies. Go look at the value of oil that they produce. Where is they in the ranking of oil producers? Just because they give one country some oil, that don't mean they have free trade. Mexico does not have free trade or they be rich. Look at how much nickel they produce, cobalt. They've got a whole lot of resources, but they ain't got no money. This is what I'm making reference to. That Cuba had been under embargo since the 50s, and they was making trade with China and with Russia. Just because they under embargo, there are certain countries that doesn't have to honor that.
So I said, I guess Trump said, not no more. We ain't giving nobody nothing. Because I know he was, I mean, I think Dulcie was saying that he ain't completely cut, or was it Dots? I can't remember, but I do remember hearing the president of Africa or somebody high up in Africa saying that he cut them off, but it's showing them to be, they have to be strong now. They got to pull it up on bootstraps.
And you hear what the other African leader told him? Why y'all mad? It ain't your money.
Right.
Y'all got y'all own money. It just opened you up.
He said the majority of the stuff they was doing was running off American money. America was helping Africa, like really helping them.
They was probably throwing some money into some despot's pocket to overthrow a righteous dictator a righteous leader like Patrice Lumumba. Look, when people are in poverty, it's like being trapped in a trap. A dog will bite his leg off to get free. If you got a person in the country that's fed up and he got leadership capabilities, and then you got somebody that's moving into the top and you can give him the resources to overthrow him, you're going to establish a coup every time. America didn't finance more coups around the world than any other country in the last 50 years. Not only coups, assassinations. Look, it's not a coincidence that as soon as the 25-year moratorium on state sanctions assassinations was lifted, the first person head of state to die was Laurent Kabila. Because he was establishing and working with Gaddafi to establish an autonomous system over there. They never wanted any of those countries to be free, and they don't never want us to know that this is our country and we supposed to be trying to establish our own stuff over here. They want us to keep fighting from the bottom like we don't know where we belong on the land.
Yeah.
Because that's the system.
Yeah. It's designed that way. We keep looking at this stuff like it's not designed this way. And when they be like, oh, ain't nobody in America supposed to be homeless. Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. The American system is designed to create homelessness, or you would have never had sharecropping agreements.
That's right.
You would have never had squatters' rights. All that is to facilitate somebody displacing and making the people from the land homeless in order for them to occupy their territory.
It's making everybody believe that, making all us believe that we everybody is from Africa.
Right. There you go.
That's to disassociate you from the land. Because if you think you from Africa, you ain't gonna feel like you have a vested interest, and it'll minimize how hard you're willing to fight for this over here.
Right.
Exactly.
If the victors tell the story, he gonna tell the story in the way that's gonna keep him in power the longest.
That's exactly what they did and what they trying to do. And if anybody falls into it, I explain. I have these conversations. I make sure I do every single day with different people. But this is your land right here.
You're saying this is the land for black people right here, Africa.
This is our land. This is our land.
Okay,
I'm talking about American. I'm talking about American copper people.
However, you do a DNA test, it's gonna send you right back to Africa.
Oh no, that I don't.
Okay. Let's deal with the DNA test.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the DNA test. The people that made the DNA test wrote in the fine print.
All kind of different DNA tests, though. I know what you're about to say, Rod. And
they say they for entertainment purposes only. The only DNA test that's accurate is like nuclear family. Like you could tell who a parent and the child is, but you can't tell who a great grand is. The markers won't show up because there's too many variables to choose from when you get past like 4-5 generations.
That's true.
Now they don't tell
your second, third, fourth cousin at most.
Look, Henry Louis Gates when he was doing
it can't connect you to anyone dead. It can only connect you to two living people. But between
I did my
genealogy,
I ain't seen no Africans in it.
But look, Henry Louis Gates said this. He was doing Oprah's, and he said, "Who believed that you could spit on the swab and tell you who a tribe of yours is on the other side of the world?" When he told his partner in the lab that when Oprah said she was Zulu, he said, "We're making it up as we go anyway. You might as well make her Zulu."
Before we migrated anywhere,
I think Sharice was trying to bring.
That's a fact.
Why do you keep
wait? What'd you say? Wait, what'd he say?
Before we migrated anywhere on the planet, we were all in Africa.
That's bullshit. Before we migrated anywhere on the planet, we was all over here. They told us the story in reverse.
Nah, man.
You don't have no proof of that, though. You just speaking what somebody else said.
Yeah, it's a belief. So it's okay for him to believe those things. But as far as when it comes to actual, facts that are being brought up for you, I know you're going to go from one thing to the next once it's debunked. But you started with the DNA, and Rod is absolutely correct as far as what DNA can and cannot do. It cannot place you against land. It cannot tell you what tribe you're associated with. It can only connect you amongst living people. That's the only thing that DNA can accurately do, and it can only do that up to certain generations. So once it starts getting to 6 to 8 cousin, different things like that, it gets real sketchy. They don't know. They're like, oh, it will even say 0.0 of the DNA, not sure. They don't know what side of the family it is or anything because it's getting less accurate the more distance you're having. Right. So what you're going for is what people have taught you, the belief sides of it, that is entertainment only, to be like, okay, now we have this foundation of something that's true, and now I'm just attaching things that are entertainment only. But a DNA test will also say, oh, you like taking a lot of naps, you like running or anything like that, and all that's entertainment. That's not something that's accurate scientifically that they can look at your DNA and say, okay, I can tell you like to run. It's just something that they're putting together for enjoyment of people so they can look at those things. Only actual thing that it shows on your DNA test is your family members that you have.
And with that being said, they tell you that you can guarantee up to the second cousin that's your family. Everybody else is questionable. So if you think about what they're saying, if they can only do but so much, how do you expect them to be so accurate on where we came from? Think about that. That don't make sense.
It's impossible.
Sister Freedom, I'm sorry. Is it okay if you just share my screen briefly?
That's what I was trying to say, Sharice. I've seen this done. I was like, I think Sharice.
I want to ask Rod Hayes about this because this is circling around Instagram here.
He come from Africa. I don't mind y'all that came from Africa being here. I just want y'all to get the fuck out the way while we claiming our shit. You can go be as unapologetically African as you want to. You can take your ass back to Africa if you want to. Just while these motherfucking natives organic to the land, Mississippi play dirt, Louisiana bayou, second line marching motherfuckers is getting their shit back. Just don't get in the way. You don't have to be. You don't. If you don't feel like you are organic
I'm
to
so
this
going back
land,
to Africa.
you don't have to participate in this fight. But you
I've
do
already
got to
been.
get the
I already
fuck
know
out
what
the
time
way
it is.
before you
That's
get
where our
ran the
ancestors.
fuck over.
That's where our great
It's
ancestors did
not
their best
personal.
work.
This is just a
Hold
family
on,
matter
hold on.
that the
It's the
family
video
is
still
handling
playing.
with all of the parts of the family being involved. We don't see nobody different until they prove themselves to be different. When you prove yourself to be different, now you're going to get treated different with indifference. So the difference that you're going to be treated with is the indifference to the difference that you act with. I mean that you're going to get exactly what the fuck you earn fucking with these clans over here. Some of you motherfuckers deserve to get scalped. Some of you motherfuckers deserve to be skinned alive, packed with motherfucking salt, with alcohol thrown on your motherfucking festering salt burning ass and set on fucking fire to run down the street.
So right.
Hey, no joke. I'm just
Rod
saying.
was wilding. You was wilding, Rod.
Yes, sir.
You woke up with violence on that day, huh,
Hey,
Rod?
Dean, how you doing, Dean?
I'm good. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Yeah, but
Hey.
Dean, wait a minute. Let
Well,
me
hold
ask
on,
you a
Sister
question.
Freedom. Hold on.
Okay,
She
go
brought
ahead,
up
go
it
ahead.
because she wanted to ask Rod Hayes a question about that. Let them exchange about the video before
Okay,
we go on and
and I'm
move
gonna
around.
ask. Okay,
Yeah.
no
I think that was a perfect segue,
If
obviously.
y'all not talking, can y'all mute up?
sure.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect segue, obviously, since we done went into this conversation. I just wanted to talk to you about this this clip that is going around on Instagram, and where did that come from? And I mean, I was dying laughing, and I thought it was amazing, of course, but I mean, I just kind of want you to speak to it a little bit more. Did like someone pose a question to you in your chat, and then this came out, or you were just speaking and just letting us know what time it was?
I was at the time under a full-fledged assault by some Moors and some slave ship Africans, and they was all in my comments trying to convince me we from Africa. And they pissed me off, so I told them how I felt. I don't mind y'all being here if y'all from Africa. We've been intermarrying Africans for thousands of years. That ain't nothing new. But the core stock of who we are always been here. That's what people keep neglecting. They thinking that, first of all, the people all over the world, you got different skin color, different hair textures, but the original people all over the world was melanated, curly haired, and kinky haired people. And the people over here fit the same mold, whether they was Mayan, Aztec, Inca, Toltec, it don't matter. Old Mississippian, Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, it don't matter. The majority of them was very dark. You had some that was very dark with straight hair, and you had some that was very dark with very kinky hair, and then you had the ones in the middle, hair textures in the middle. Then you had skin tones from high yellow, red bones, yellow bones, all the way to the darkest of chocolate. We was already here. We didn't see people by skin color until the English brought their caste system and a military strategy, and this military strategy is white supremacy. So this is what we've been fighting, and then they mix on other people, some Negropeans in with us, like we not gonna know them when they don't even vibe on the same frequency that we do. They got a whole different way they do things. Then they was switching the babies out in the hospitals. Everybody think that was just happening to pink folks. That was happening to us too. All they got to do is find two parents with similar phenotype, and they gonna switch the baby for their nature versus nurture experiments. All of this stuff
Rod,
is
one
all in
second.
the
Everybody
books.
mute up while Rod is talking. We can still hear like something beating in the background.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
about that, Rod.
yeah. So when they got in my comments talking about nigga, you know you an African. I ain't no African. I don't have no problem with Africans, but people believe because I say I'm not an African that I have a problem with Africans. I love Africans. I just don't love them more than I love me. I'm just not African. That's not a fault of man. That's just who I am. And African people been telling me the whole time that the people saying we from Africa lying to us. So now my ancestors, my elders, and the people in my family and family friends that's age, they all been telling me the same thing. We ain't from Africa. Africans telling me ain't from Africa. Now I go into these educational systems and these brainwashed Negroes keep trying to convince me I'm from Africa on a ship. And I know good and well when I touch that Mississippi clay dirt, I ain't never felt nothing like that. I know I belong there.
And
So
that's
that's what that was about.
I ain't never hear. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for a continental African, right, to tell me which of their family members were sold in the slave ships across the Atlantic Ocean.
That part.
And
That part.
once I hear that, then I can understand. But I have yet to find one. And
Yeah, I
and
always ask people that. I always say, find me one authentic African ancestor in your genealogy, in your lineage. Please show me one. Please.
Well, some people can show one, but it
I'm
ain't
not
a whole
saying
lot of us.
Then they not us.
Look,
The information
Right.
that they get about the slave trade came from America.
it's an educational doctrine written in Notre Dame University. That's why the slave ship blueprint is the blueprint for the cathedral. It's a perfect overlay.
I was just getting ready to bring in the Vatican. Go ahead. You got it.
It's a perfect overlay. Notre Dame's cathedral that caught on fire. I think it was in 2018, 2019. It caught on fire. The blueprints for the slave ship. I'm gonna show you the blueprint because some Hebrew Israelites just gave me some papers to try to convert me into being or recruit me into their little. What I do with that paper?
They were trying to convert you.
And you know what else? So when the slave trade was supposedly taking place, it wasn't even called Africa. It wasn't even called Africa at that time. So I don't even know. I don't even know how they getting that half the stuff. You can tell us all just like made up history, so you won't be able to, say that you have a part of this land. That's why at first if that was the case, we would have always been called African Americans. And that wasn't the case. We were called Negroes, we were called coloreds and whatever Indians, whatever tribal names we had way before we were called anybody's African Americans. And here's another thing.
You see that slave ship right there?
Well, let me see. Yes.
Yeah, the same model.
Fake. That's fake.
This is the overlay of the blueprint to the Cathedral of Notre Dame. I mean, it's a perfect overlay. That's not no accident.
But the issue is what I ask people all the time. I was talking to Natural Tahuti, and I asked him a question. I said, listen, you see what Rod just showed? I'm telling you, it is impossible for 90 days for somebody to be laying chained up on a boat with, and I'm going to say this, poop, pee, and spit up. Okay. You go after a while, after 3 or 4 days, you're going to start getting bed sores. Okay. From laying on some hard wood. Who was going down there cleaning up all that? You see how close them people were? How they make it look?
Yep. But see that when I asked that question, they all got mad. One dude came on Sinetta team, told me they had a drainage valve at the bottom of the ship. I said bullshit, because nowhere in the blueprint do they show the drainage valve.
And listen, they go so much as to say, I said, well, how did all these people get over here from Africa? From Africa, how did thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago, the people, somebody said they walked over during the ice age. I said, when you ever heard of Africa being in ice? That don't even make no sense. They walked over. So, okay, if they walked over when it started getting cold, they start feeling the cold over here. What they wrapped themselves in? What did they eat, drink, and all that when they walked over? That don't even make no sense to me. Just like the whole boat ride. Their bodies would have been, they'd have been halfway dead by the time they got over here. They'd have been dead. All of them would have probably been dead from the smell and the suffocation of the urine smell and the feces and all of that. It's just would have made you so sick that you would have just died.
You been on a cruise before?
Oh yeah, I just came off a cruise and I
Okay.
had to take
But hold on, slow down. I want to go walk through this cruise for a minute just to give people some understanding of what it takes to move a mass amount of people. Do you know how many people was on the cruise?
A lot.
The estimate?
I really don't know how many people, but it was hundreds. I do know that.
Okay, let's just say 500 people.
Okay.
Okay, now, do they got a full kitchen on the ship?
Yes.
And they got a full dining room on the ship?
Yes.
Okay. Who was cooking and who was running the mess hall for all these slaves? Who was chaining them and unchaining them for their meals? That's if they was using a modern cruise ship.
But that wasn't back then. They only had wooden boat,
Exactly my point.
They didn't even have what we have now. You can even look it up when the first ship was even made that ran by like how we have it now. You could look that up. They didn't have that back then.
The numbers don't match.
That does, and if you land on something that hard, try it now. Even when you sitting on like a stool and it's hard wooden, you got to put a cushion or something because it'll start hurting you where you got to move around and it just doesn't work. Your body don't work like that. It'll start breaking down.
Yeah.
It just don't make. I know I work with people with how bed sores start and all of that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, for sure. Dean, what were you saying? Sorry about that. Come on in, Dean.
I was just saying hello. I just
What's
wanted
up?
to ask.
Hi, Dean.
My question to each one of y'all is, how y'all doing?
Fine.
Doing good.
Just sit back and eating the popcorn right now.
Okay, I'm just saying you got to start making sense out of nonsense. It don't make no sense, and it ain't our information. I keep asking them, what did they do with the copper color people that was on these lands when they came over here and stole the lands? I mean, listen, to a person that undone person, they look at us and they look at us all the same. Just like when we look at them as being all the same. Just like when we look at a Chinese, a Japanese, a Korean, or whatever. To us, they all look the same. We can't tell a difference.
The U.S. Census is a great document to get those answers about what did they do and how they classified or misclassified people. You know what I mean?
The paper genocide not even a secret though.
Talk about how when they look at dark-skinned people.
No, it's not. You're right, right.
Yeah.
They just
it's because people aren't looking into the history into it at all, because they even have regulations of how many people can be on the ships, when people could be on the ships, how much food has to be on the ship and compared to people, meaning they were limited. And then you would have to know schooners and the ship details and routes to even really go into it. But the major thing is it's just belief. And when people have belief, they don't have to actually back it up with any kind of facts. They don't have to understand ships or anything like that. But Bad Hombre really wants us to address this question. So, Rod, I want to pose it to you. I'm sure you're familiar with the FBA. He's saying, why is FBA doing better than American Indians? Would you say that they are doing better than American Indians at this time?
Who?
FBA. He says, why are FBA doing better than American Indians?
I don't know what that is.
Same thing. I was saying the exact same thing.
Asiatic said that other slaves got extra food for cleaning up.
Asiatic.
I seen that. I started laughing, almost choked.
I didn't know what he said when he said that.
I knew exactly what Ron Hayes was talking about. The valve and throwing down salt water to clean out the bottom. We ain't getting into that, or no yoga that they were doing on top of the ship. That's just crazy. Therese, you remember Kanye's workout plan on top of the slave ship?
I'm just saying, they talking about walking over
They
from
got extra
Africa.
food. Lord Jesus. I
It
done
took
heard it
90
all.
days on a ship to come. You talking about walking over from Africa? Oh my God. I'm just saying, what is in our mind?
That's the
That's the
Pandy.
same people. Listen, that's the same people telling you that a man walked on water.
Wait a minute, that's the
Mm.
same way they told us the white people come from
Wait,
black
wait, wait. Hold
Chinese
up,
people
hold up,
come
hold
from
up.
black tea. Everybody
Rewind.
come from us. Oh my
Wait,
God.
Frida, one more time. Rod, say that one more time. One more
I
time,
said,
Rod.
then the same people that believe the man was walking on some water.
Okay.
You better say
Okay.
it. That is crazy. I mean, it gets so much is when just like when the brother said we all started from Africa. Who is we all? I mean, so that means you adding in everybody because you know they got our minds so twisted that they think that nature couldn't make all these different races, that all the races had to come from us. And that we had to come from monkeys and Africa and apes. I mean, we really don't take time to think about the things that people are saying out our mouth, and they could tell us anything, and we will actually fight for the lies that are being told to us. It don't make no sense. But yet we say we believe in nature. It's just crazy to me. These people that don't look like us, don't smell like us, body structure different, hair different, everything different, but yet they come from us. Chinese people are short. You know what I'm saying? They got another different type of hair, different body structure. Everything is different about these people, but they all had to come from us. But yet we still look how we look, and they ain't coming from us today.
But you know the only common denominator in all of the people on the planet, right?
Huh?
Do you know the one common denominator in all of the people on the planet?
What is it?
The motherline.
Oh, wow.
Mitochondrial is the only broken direct descendant chain of DNA in the human body from the original people. And only through
I don't
mitochondrial.
know if there is an original people. I think everybody is their original to who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chinese or Japanese or whatever them Asian type people are, they're original to their kind of people. Just like we are original to ours. I think that there are many originals, not just one.
But the
I mean, because
motherline,
you would know
the motherline is the only continuous chain of DNA
when you say
passed
the
from mother
motherland,
to
you need to
listen,
explain
passed from mother to daughter.
that. Right.
All of these differences that you speak of is coming through what they call a haplogroup of Y chromosomes. That means all of these different bloodlines of humans, even though they all mitochondrially related, they difference comes in through the Y chromosome.
Okay.
And this is so wherever their daddies came from, all these people ain't got the same daddy, but the whole
No,
earth got the same mama.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think they got their own mama. I think they got
So
their own mama because everybody's different. I
Well,
mean,
it's, they call them the 12 daughters of Eve or the 12 sisters of Eve. And it's supposed to be 13 distinct mitochondrial sequences.
okay.
oh yeah.
It's
So
different.
talking about like just human
This wasn't
evolution.
even a human. Lucy was something called proconsul that was 3.5 million years or so ago. That was, but you can classify her as much of a chimpanzee as you can a human.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what's crazy is like when you read. Okay, so I remember when I was in my anthropology class, right, y'all, and I first heard this Lucy story. Okay, and my understanding is that Europeans would be the first to identify it. They know the land, they know the terrain, they know you understand what I'm saying? Why does it take a European to come in to make these
Facts.
discoveries? And then as a result of making these discoveries, we have this whole theory of everyone came from Africa. We evolved from monkeys and apes, right? No,
That's
I'm
like you
sorry.
saying
I
they
have
know how
questions.
Well,
they
they
know
did
where to
have a team that the
pull from.
Lewis team. Their team was Ethiopians. The first name wasn't Lucy. I forgot it was some Ethiopian name that they
They
changed
changed it.
later to Lucy. But the main thing was is those bones were falsified. that they didn't walk upright. They showed as far as the
I
real
remember
bones,
that.
and it was Lucy was a monkey. That's what
Right.
Lucy
Right.
and they just falsified the bones because the Royal Society needed that. The Royal Society needed the missing link. So Lewis was struggling money wise, and they were like, we're not gonna give you money for a monkey. That's not what we need. We need the missing link. So what do they do? Okay, falsify the bones, say we had the missing link so
Right.
we can get this Royal Society money.
And they
Because that's
admitted
what
that
they
they did
paid us
that. They
for.
admitted that they did that. They
Yeah.
admitted that they did that.
And as crazy as
just
that
follow the
story
money.
sounds, right? And as crazy as this story sounds, the one I just shared, because that's exactly how when they teach about the slave trade, how it was written in history books, right? It's a lot of that Mandela effect that you just mentioned, Rod. It's a lot of the watering down. And when you look at it, you're like, am I reading a novella? Am I reading a fairy tale? Like but this is what's being taught. This is what's being
I'm
taught.
just trying to figure out when less than 0.1% of the people was literate, how did all these slaves write narratives?
Okay.
Mm.
That
Facts.
part.
Yeah.
Say it again,
They
bro.
just say whatever they want to say. But bad hombre, I know you're going crazy in the chat. But your question is very subjective. First off, you're saying you're wealthy and you're running circles around people,
Why he
which
keeps saying that?
which could be true. You could be wealthy, but that doesn't mean you're running circles around people. You would need to know what everybody else is
And
making,
he
what
got time to
everybody
be
else's
on here for
salary
50
is,
hours.
and a lawyer in comparison to somebody else's salary might not be as much. You might be actually just doing bare minimum compared to what
Girl, you
someone
know
else is
bad
doing.
hombre bullshit. Don't take him.
He's just like, so he can calm down on it because he like, why are we running circles and all this other stuff?
I
Like,
don't know what
I'm
he
glad
keeps
you're
talking
doing
about.
well, but there's a lot of people doing well. That's just the facts of life. We're
Yeah.
not here.
Can I ask
People are doing well.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. If y'all want to see when the tribe gonna be doing well, just keep watching. It's coming. Cause
Can
we
I ask
back for every fucking thing they owe, and they just so happen to owe us everything.
Yes, they do.
And I was always taught that.
Everybody owe us.
But can I
I'm
just say
thinking-
something?
Go
I
ahead.
was always taught that a nigga who's, excuse my language, I was always taught that a man who's doing well, they don't say they're doing well. You don't have to say that.
Okay.
I'm just saying
You do not. He do it every time he come on here.
every time.
Attention, because he want attention. Bad hombre, sit down some damn well.
Okay, man, listen to Big Mama. Tell you sit down. Can I ask Ron? Here's another
My mama told me class speak for itself. You don't have to argue
Right.
no point. From when you
That's right.
standing in, when you really got class, you don't have to argue it. It's gonna defend
It's gonna
itself.
show. That's right.
Yeah.
So, ladies, is it okay if I ask Rod another question?
Yes.
So, sir, I think what I want to know is that I know a lot of us have been in this paradigm for a long time. I know some longer than others. I mean, I would consider myself relatively new in this space, but I mean, it's been over a couple of years now. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. My question is, do you think with Trump being in office right now, do you think that we have a good, do you think that this is a good time where we can really push the information that we've been taught about who we are? Because I mean, I don't like when I hear him using African American and different things like that. So do you think that this political climate is ready for the Aboriginal paradigm in terms of the information, in terms of us being true to this land? I mean, in light of all the birthright citizenship things that are going on with that particular executive order, can you kind of speak to that a little bit? Do you think that this could be something that could be heard on a bigger national platform?
Well, they already soft disclosed it. They got different people making mention that the African American is the Indian. Certain senators and already said it out their mouth in interviews. So they're getting around to it. Now they also recognizing tribes that was formerly not part of the Dawes Commission's recognition that was also part of the paper genocide. And ain't no time better than now for us to let people know who we are. The problem is these unapologetically African ass niggas that don't know they natives. That's the problem. If I don't mind them being African, but when they don't, they if you tell them to go to Africa, they gonna get mad at you. They say they're African, but they don't want to go to Africa. So ain't no time better than now. It's all coming out. And when Trump get done doing the accounting part, then they got to do the transfer of power part, and that's the part where everybody's mouth gonna hit the floor.
And
Yeah,
for
thank
this
you.
transfer of power part, Rod, do you think it's important that people amass the documentation, or what do you think that people should really be gathering when they're doing like their genealogy or anything for their benefit and their family benefit?
Everybody should do the best they can, but a lot of us, like for instance, when I get to Magnolia, Mississippi, I can only go back to I think the 1930s before the church that all the records was in was burnt down. So trying to tell a person that's a victim of paper genocide to prove their identity is like trying to tell a dead man to prove who murdered them. But we know who we are from the oral tradition. All of us got somebody in our family that know who we are.
Yes, and that's a fact. And sometimes we let our grandparents live to be 90 something years old and never ask them any questions. Aunties, uncles. I have one aunt now that can tell me some stories because she now in her 90s. You know what I'm saying? Some that still know stuff. You can't let them go get away now. You gotta kind of like interview them, ask questions. I'm telling you, they can go back. They can go back afar, but you can look up your stuff too.
Hey, look, when you mentioned take care of the elderly used to get took care of at home.
What you say,
All,
Bob?
the elderly used to get took care of at home. All this shipping people out to the old folks' home, that's some
Yeah,
new shit.
they used to. But
Because the teenage boys and girls used to take care of those senior citizens. And then the ones that's still around the house in their early 20s, they was the ones feeding them, you know, and, learning the history from talking to them. And this is why they poison everybody, giving us Alzheimer's and dementia. They don't want the old people telling the youth, but it's too late now because my big mouth that made sure that the kids got enough to go trace it down, and they coming back with all the receipts that they got more receipts than I got.
I'll be influencing people to look at some channels, that's gonna tell them the truth. Like once we start talking to them, that's why I try to talk to people every day, especially about because there's people who really think that they're African, but you're just not. But if that's what you want to believe, I can't. Well, yeah, some of them might have some. I can't say all of them, but I always try to give the information that I know to try to make sense out of nonsense. And you know what they say to me? I never even heard it. I never even thought about that. I never, you know what? I'm trying to, and then they'll bring up some people who with the doctor in front of their names. I said, but they only going by what somebody told them to. They don't have no proof of it.
I have yet to find a firsthand account of a historical event. All of the historical events is somebody telling the story after the fact.
Yes.
It's hardly any history book say, yeah, while I was sitting in the room with Abraham Lincoln, he was telling me. They don't have any of those. They don't have no first-hand accounts of history. All history is second and third-hand accounts referenced by fourth and fifth-hand, repeated by fifth and sixth-hand. No first-hand accounts. Everything is, even if you take the New Testament of the Bible, the first 4 books, wasn't one of them written during the lifetime of this guy that they calling Jesus, according to the scholars that put the information out. They know that all this information was written 100 or more years later, but they telling the story like they was actually there.
Yeah. But that goes to show you the minds of our people too, that they would believe in something that they can't see. And then a man in the sky got a girl pregnant. I mean, it's just we got to really start thinking, start opening our minds and start thinking. And we don't do that.
Well, I don't know about no man in the sky, but a girl can get herself pregnant if she wants to.
No, but I'm just saying though, we really believe in this man in the sky that send these angels down and then got this little young girl pregnant. But listen, here's the part that God, you're not supposed to believe in was it when you married and messing with another man or whatever, but yet God can get Joseph's wife pregnant. That just, I just say we not even thinking.
But Rob, we were doing so good. Yeah, she could get herself pregnant if she steal your sperm and got a turkey baster.
No, seriously, parthenogenesis is not a fiction. It's an actual thing.
Go there with it, though. See, yeah, we talking now.
But I mean, it could have been a thing before, but you're saying in recent times that that's still a thing that can happen. Well, and not from like a hermaphrodite that has both or something.
No, the women have all of the equipment to spark spontaneous mitosis in the cell. She got everything she needs to make a baby without a man. The problem is, as long as you don't know that, and then the woman's so out cold, and this is why these dudes be hating women so bad. The woman's so out cold, she been had 50 sex partners, 51 she get pregnant, and she used genetic material from 50 niggas before him and don't use none of his to make the baby.
So she stopped piling the cum. I mean, sorry, she stopped piling it.
Where is it stored? So you can store it somewhere?
In the Queen's chamber of the brain stores all genetic material of every man she ever been with.
I've heard of a woman getting pregnant and she like the sperm stayed in her, because a woman can have a baby by two people.
What about the ones that I don't want to remember?
It's like 1%, but yeah, I know that.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it's 1% or 0.5%. I just know it can be done, and she could have two men's babies inside of her, and she had sex with the other guy like a week before time.
Right, because why it's so rare is because usually you're like being pregnant is usually like a birth control, like your body says that. So your body, if it doesn't produce twins or triplets or whatever right away, then it's like I'm pregnant already. We'll need to do that. But yes, there are times that doesn't work. That mechanism that whatever stops that, and she can be pregnant by two different men if she's sleeping around. But I don't know, Rod, about themselves and tapping into your brain. So say I wanted to get pregnant by myself. I like some candles, and then what do I do next?
I don't know. They were saying something about some gland that we had back when we were maybe stronger women. I think we had at one time it was two sexes in one body. So you had the ability to get pregnant, I guess, because
there's still a couple of species of animal on the earth that don't have no males.
Huh?
There's still a couple of species of animal on the earth that don't have any males.
I mean, I don't know how it happened. I know it's been an argument about it.
How would we, now that we have males, because we have that, and you guys have the sperm, like, isn't that like mandatory now?
Hermaphrodites that got both sexes, hermaphrodites. And
I get that. I said I brought that and with having both sexes, but he's saying just a woman can without a man. But it's like, how is sperm not necessary? Because sperm is what you need.
Sperm is what a man needs to give a woman in order for her to reproduce him, but it ain't what she needs to reproduce her.
Okay. Okay. Now that might be something that we might have to look into.
So if so a woman can reproduce herself without sperm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at one time they were talking about that was
It's
able.
parthenogenesis. It's not even
Me
a
neither, baby
foreign
girl.
concept in genetics that parthenogenesis takes place. In order for it to be impossible, it won't be found nowhere in nature. In order for it to be possible, all you got to do is find it anywhere in nature. If it's anywhere in nature, it's possible.
Ben Saint said, I would be mad if I could get myself pregnant just by thinking about it. I would be
Yeah,
mad too.
and
I
I
would be
know
mad too.
parthenogenesis and different, but I think every different species can do different things. I think it's biggest amongst plants, right? Or it might be at biggest amongst bacteria. One of
See
those.
animals, I think too.
Yeah, sea animals, but I think it can sea animals can be like reverse, where the male is the one that gets pregnant and the
Well,
woman.
they can change gender. The if you get a school of all female fish, the most dominant female fish will spontaneously turn into a male. That's different.
But you're saying if any animal can do it, a human can do it, or we can do it.
But we
The
are a
the
form of
possibility is present.
very yes, it is. I mean, I know you're not shocked that I done seen some things that has shocked me. They find it even in the sea now.
I've never seen a woman get herself pregnant.
Well,
I've
no,
seen her
I mean,
say it.
have you ever heard of a
I've
woman
seen her
that
say
couldn't
it ain't nobody else but yours, and
but listen, have you
the
ever heard of a
DNA
woman
says
that
it's
keep
not. And then she's
going?
like, "Well, I ain't been with nobody else. I'm
Yeah, but
sure
have
they
you ever
gonna
heard
bring
of
up
a
this
woman
fried
that keep
egg."
testing every man she been with, and none of them is the baby father? None of them. I'm
Because they
everybody.
didn't test every man that she's been with, then
I
because they
don't
haven't
know.
got to every
I
man that
know.
she's been with.
I don't know. But when she was, I know one girl that was going all the way back. Because she couldn't figure out who in the heck she got pregnant by. Everybody
So that
she
means
took.
she was busting it wide open. Like
I don't know. Come
she
on,
don't
Dusty.
remember all her sexual partners.
I
That's I
don't know
mean,
about that.
But you
no,
got to
no.
also remember, she also got the capability of one of them getting her pregnant, and she don't use none of his genetic material.
I don't know. I'm not
Well,
shocked.
this conversation is above my pay grade, but I know, Rod,
Okay.
you went, wait, hold on. But I know, Rod, when you talk about storing the memory of the men, of a woman storing the memory of all the men that she's been with. Let me just tell you, most women we don't want to remember. Some of them do not deserve any recollection or memory. I know nobody would have stored them. Okay, I'm just saying. That's all I got to
She
She's
say
was
about
out
that.
there black
she's
out.
storing
Hey,
all the
hey,
DNA,
if
all the
she bust
DNA,
that thing open and he squirted in there, she got his DNA.
all the DNA,
Very unfortunate.
and she's just
Ladies, keep
holding
them
that.
legs closed. Okay.
Yes.
That's
I
what the
mean,
value of the virgin was, because the only way that you could guarantee it with your baby is to keep all other men away. That's what
mm,
the whole big hoopla about a virgin is. Otherwise, it won't matter. But you can't be sure if she had a sex partner 10 years ago, then she get pregnant by you, she gonna use all of your genetic material. She
but
might
I
use
was
some of yours and some of his.
but what if she had the sperm still in her? Because like I was saying,
If the
some
sperm don't, it ain't
women
the sperm, it's the coding of the DNA that she saves. It's the
Gotta be
DNA
careful, ladies.
codes that his body's signature leaves with her. The mitochondria records all DNA activity in order to adjust for defects in order to correct the genome.
mhm.
Ladies, that's right. Close them legs. Hey, Two Grand. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Shout out to the panel. Shout out
How
to
you
you,
doing,
ladies.
Two
Shout out to
Grand? How
Rod.
you doing?
Peace and love.
I'm good. I'm good. Y'all always coming with some fire discussions. I want to give a shout out as well to Rod Hayes. My man always spitting some knowledge. Now, I like what y'all talking about. This parthenogenesis is really something that I ran into as well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. From the research I did, it's bone marrow, which is it's crazy because they say it's only found in the black woman, right? that has the ability to secrete semen through, I think it's the part, hold on a second, the parthenium gland. It's through one of the ducts. So I
Mhm.
kind of went in on it when I found out, but this is definitely something that was done way back when, right? This is look, man. We all know they lied to us, right? So definitely, this is something that our sisters was able to do back in the day. Now, this is coming from a man. I had to put my ego aside to be able to be able to say this now. So you know what I mean. This was definitely something that our women was able to do back in the day, and that got to be respected.
Do you think they can still do it today, too, Grand?
No, I don't think it can be done today. There has been too many changes along the generations where we're not like we used to be. We're not even breathing the same oxygen as we used to, from what I've come to find out. You know what
Yeah,
I
we
mean? The
used to
earth.
breathe straight ozone, double
e-
oxygen molecule.
Exactly. My man Rod Hayes, he's been spitting this stuff for years, and he always tells you, right, don't just listen to him, like go research it, right? And every time I hear something, I go back and I'll try to debunk it. And nah, back in the day, the air was different. Plants even growed back in the day. When they talk about Eden, it was truly here before we started to mess around with things. We truly had it good out here before we started messing with things. You know what I mean?
Them was the outsiders.
I have a
So,
question. I have a
so
question because science is not my forte, so I'm just curious. But like, would cloning, or something like stem cells and cloning be an example of parthogenesis?
It's another name for it is spontaneous clone.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
tell you that you gave birth to your twin if you have a parthenogenic birth. They'll tell you you birthed your twin that was in your uterus waiting to continue its gestation and try to act like poof, it just popped there. You 30 years old, you just had this baby, and you ain't been with a man since you was 22, and you wonder how you got pregnant, and they're gonna tell you, oh, you just birthing your twin.
Mm,
It was lodged in your uterus from childhood, and it decided to wake up when you turned 30.
mm.
Ta-da!
yeah, and stem cells are important to them because we all know they decide to hold on to that placenta after a woman has a baby, and there's a reason for that. They all up in there for them stem cells, right?
Mm.
Not only
Yeah.
that, that's the doppelganger for the capturing of the soul of the birth certificate.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy right there.
That's your double. Every
Yeah.
every birth is a twin birth under the Admiralty.
Wow.
I wanted to ask Dulcinea something real quick. Dulcie, remember you were saying that the people are not now going to be able to put, they got to put their actual sexes on the birth certificates, right? The
Well, no, it's just not going to
other,
be changed.
right, but the ones that already changed it, is he going to do anything about that, or are they just going to remain the same? Has he said anything about that?
Well, I think of what they can fix. I mean, like if you got your birth certificate before and it was changed, you still have that copy of it, but in the vital records, it's all changed back. And when you go to apply for things like a passport, the passport is going to go by your birth certificate, which is going to be what you were born as now, not any sex change. It doesn't matter if you fully got the sex change or anything. It's going to go by what your birth sex was.
Yeah, I was
Look,
wondering if it's already done.
I seen a real TikTok reel. I don't know if it was a real person, but it was supposed to be a trans testicle, and the trans testicle was complaining because
Not a
now
trans testicle. Not a trans testicle. No, you didn't.
Oh, I got to
Mm,
Google.
mm, mm, mm.
So look,
I think I know the one you're talking about too.
look, the trans testicle got an attitude because now the thing got to be humiliated because it got mail on his passport. He's walking through the airport, bitching.
Are you
So they
serious?
were like, they've gotten everything changed. They went through the surgery. Nothing on them is a male anymore, but they have to have a passport based on their old self or anything. And it's really going. They're really big mad about it because everyone's been really like going at the people, like even Tasha K, which I respected, of her going so hard because they were like, oh, well, you should just refer me as a woman. Why do you keep having to put trans woman? And it's like, because that disrespects me. And they're like, no, we're in the same group. No, we're not. We're not in the same group. We're not all women here. You're a trans woman, not a woman.
They're blurring the line so much, man. It's ridiculous.
My lines is clear. If that motherfucker got a man skeleton, it's a man.
True.
It's unbelievable. It is truly. I mean, and they actually get mad with you for telling they not a woman. Like,
look,
what?
you can take 100 of these trans testicles and put them on an island and let them die, and they all looked like women when they went. But when they dig their bones up in 1,000 years and try to determine who these 100 people was, they're gonna label all of them as male.
It's still going to say XY.
Can't get rid of it.
You can't get rid of it.
Bad Saint said, how, are people going to be able to do genealogy in the future with, I guess, with the trans, what you call them, right?
Trans testicles.
I like that one too. Trans testicles. That one's
oh my Lord.
Well, I mean, they'll be able to do it. Bad Saint. There's just going to be this going back and forth, and we don't know because right now people hate the Democrats so much. We don't see them having a comeback like that for some time.
They better come up. Somebody better come up with a new political party.
But what it will be like is when you see race, you know how we got Summit, and 1 minute they're white on one of the censuses, and the next minute they're Negro or colored. It's just gonna be like one moment they're a man on the census, the next census they're a woman, and then the census after that they're back man. So either way, they're gonna be like,
Look, they're gonna be doing a genealogy in the future. Little Bobby gonna run in the house and say, Dad, I was doing my genealogy and I found out that my granddad turned into my grandma. What the hell is that about?
Right.
Facts.
That is crazy.
I found that my grandpa was pregnant. Because that's a big thing too, of like, so they don't complete the sex change, or before they complete the sex change, and they're like with each other, like a trans man is with a trans woman, the trans man will be pregnant. So
say that again, Dulcie.
I know it's like a
no, don't say it again, please.
Yeah, we can't hear
it.
I see that a lot of the trans man will be pregnant by the trans woman because they haven't completed everything.
That is unbelievable.
That's transmission incomplete if I ever heard it. Transmission incomplete.
Okay. It's just unbelievable. And they don't think they got mental issues. That's the crazy part. I don't know how they
the only ones really classified as crazy is the people they call truthers. Everybody else is normal. Schizophrenic, paranoid delusion, psychotic, psychosis, neurosis. It don't matter. They are normal, but them motherfuckers telling the truth. Oh yeah, they totally insane and batshit crazy.
I know Trump was like, I got to stop this. He said that was the first thing he put through. This is crazy. They pissed off too. They got all kinds of. They fighting Trump hard with it too. He don't care.
Here's the thing. This is tripping me out. Like I thought women had like automatic non-fail gaydar. They don't. I
No,
told
the
some,
women of no. Let's preface that. Maybe the young, because maybe the younger generation, because I know I got a really good gaydar.
did you know Brittany Griner was a man?
Yeah.
Look, I told somebody Brittany Griner was
Yeah.
locked up in the men's institution in Russia, and they thought that was so wrong. I said, don't you know what that means? Brittany Griner got to be a man, or they'd put him in the women's prison in Russia.
Hmm.
They'll put no woman in no men's prison nowhere in the known world, except for Sada Shakur. That was the last time that was done. That's on record. They were trying to get her raped to death. It didn't work. Backfired on them.
That's crazy.
Who you talking about, Rob? What's the person name?
Asada
Brittany
Shakur.
Griner.
No,
What
she
did
talking about that they
She
put in
played
the
in the WNBA.
yeah,
Brittany
Brittany.
Griner.
Yeah,
Brittany Griner.
That's crazy.
Wait a minute, did
Yeah.
you say Asada Shakur?
yeah. Asada. They put Asada in the men's prison, trying to get her raped to death.
Oh my God.
But they didn't know that the dudes in there they had Black Liberation Army, Panthers, all kind of resistance movement members all through the prison. And when they heard she was coming, they went on full protection detail. Next thing you know, they bust her up out of there.
Come on now, WNBA ain't all men. Maya's not a man. There's plenty of them that weren't men.
Hey,
Come on.
groin injuries in the last 4 years have went up 200% in the women's sports.
Yeah, a lot of them probably men now, but they weren't men.
I was like, what?
Leslie not a man.
There's a whole bunch of women with hurt balls in women's sports.
Those particular women you just named, they're not men. I agree with you.
No, Asada not a man. Brittany Griner is a whole man.
She could have started a man in transition. Like I definitely could see that. But there's specific people like, sorry, the young lady just said Lisa Leslie. Nah, that ain't nah. I don't believe that. Like
No, back then I don't think they was letting men in yet.
Exactly.
They didn't start. They had to test us out first, so they gave us a comedy called Joanna Man.
Yes,
and
exactly.
that was to gauge public perception of a man pretending to be a woman in women's sports.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They put it all in the movies, for real, for real.
They always put it in the movies, just
They
like
do.
I think it was called Species, and Species turned them from a man and a woman too.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say allegedly just to protect the channel. However, Candace Owens did a fantastic series on this. But the Prime Minister of France, Macron, his wife is a man.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That's a
Look,
fact. Brigitte
the
Macron.
old man Bush's wife was a man. Barbara was Big Buddy.
And Donald Trump called her out. Yeah. And Trump called her out because, of course, she's supposed to be like, pro-woman's. I'm talking about Brigitte Macron, the Prime Minister of France, husband, wife, whatever. And so when Trump was running, she's like, oh, he's anti-trans, he's anti-woman's. And he was like, I know you're not talking. I will air you all the way out. You are a party boy. I mean, party girl. Don't play with me. Now, that's that's the Harlem translation of what he really said, but y'all get what I'm saying. So
I don't want to be mean, but
he was like,
I
keep
always
playing with me.
question
Shut them all the way down.
Dr. Dre's ex-wife, because that lawyer chick.
Candace is not a man. Leave Candace Owens alone. She's not a man.
No, not Candace Owens.
No, I'm responding to a comment.
Someone in the chat, but y'all know Dr. Dre's ex-wife,
Yes.
the one that went for the money, was she always a
No,
woman?
she wasn't always. She wasn't always a woman.
Okay.
I knew she had some strong jawbones.
That's the only strong. That ain't the only thing she got strong.
It was a little
Them
too strong.
jawbones is strong.
That's what he fell out with Tupac about that one. That's what him and Tupac fell out about.
Oh, that is?
Tupac called him out.
Oh, okay.
He said, we in the studio working hard. Here you is up in there sucking dick and licking pussy.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
And then Sugar aired him out too. He said, y'all think that Dre wife?
He
I
is his
think
ass
he
all the way
said
up.
how should said. He said, "Y'all think that's Dre wife? I think Dre the wife."
Right.
Oh my God. Wow.
How you do? And Wendy Williams voice.
I
Oh my
always
God.
thought Whitney Williams was a man, but I know she ain't. But she just looked like one.
Now y'all gonna leave my Wendy alone, okay?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, she
Better
used to
leave
be
herself
real
alone.
cute back in when she first started back in the day. So I don't know if it's like kind of like the drugs mixed with other stuff, but she was
I
real
ain't
cute
never
back
seen
in
her
the day.
cute.
It's everything.
Never
You
seen
You
should
have
have
to
her.
never
look
started
back
that
in the
false rumor
day in the
about Tupac.
beginning.
That's what the problem with her is.
Yeah, you got to look the old when she first started and they're in the
Yeah, with
little
Hot
studio or
97.
anything. She was
I
Yeah.
have
real
never
cute. She
seen
was
her
like
cute though. I
19
mean, I
years
think you're
old.
pushing it
Go.
a
Yeah,
little.
I
You'll
ain't
have to
never
look.
seen her cute either.
I ain't
You'll
never
have
seen
to
her
go
cute.
look. She was cute when she was 19. Okay.
I ain't never seen that.
Probably when she got done painting her face on, she might have been somewhat tolerable.
Mm, I don't
I'll
know.
be
I'll say
going
she
there.
ain't look like a man.
She had softer features years ago.
Exactly. She had softer features.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
that's a
she
good
still
way of
had them
saying
big
it.
ass boat for feet.
She wears
But we
size
ain't talking
13,
about her
14.
feet. But
That's
some
enough.
people just have big feet.
We talking about the whole body of work, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Or
okay. This
worked
is a
on
good
body,
question.
however you want to put it.
Rod, this is a good
Rod Vico.
Rod crazy.
I think they built her in the laboratory. She got so many false parts.
Oh man. Yeah. Hold
So
up. I
I can
just
hear the
want to
$6 million man music playing, thinking about her.
oh man.
What they say when the $6 million man used to come on, we can build him faster, stronger.
Y'all
They were
crazy.
putting her together. They was like, we can build her somewhat feminine, somewhat ladylike.
Somewhat.
And she's always been like that since
And
her
look,
days of Hot 97 back in New York City, man.
I'm
Y'all
She's
looking
gonna
at a
always
leave
been
Wendy
picture
that
of
way.
her
alone.
way back, and she still looked the same to me.
Still, yeah.
Y'all gonna leave her alone. That's what y'all
It's
gonna do.
how
nope, I ain't
far
gonna
back
never leave her
though. I
alone
ain't
till she
talking about like in
apologized
her
for starting that
30s. She
rumor
like
about Tupac getting raped.
70 right now.
Oh wait, hold up, y'all. Listen, this is important. Just want to remind everybody in the chat. I have posted Rod Hayes Cash App. All right, the best way to support, hit his Cash App up. I'll pin it again. I know you guys are enjoying the conversation. We got about 299 folks in the live. I hope y'all hitting the like button. Somebody asked a good question though. You see it on the screen, Rod? Since a
Mhm.
woman, when we're talking about parthenogenesis, since a woman can have a baby by herself, is it possible that some of these witches are having babies, pure bloodline witches and wizards offspring?
Mm.
That's totally possible. I wouldn't rule it out.
A lot of
I
stuff.
wouldn't rule it out because when you get into the higher cult, it started teaching you how to access parts of your anatomical being that you don't even know you can do.
Right.
They used to do exhibits and they used to call them jugglers a long time ago in India, where the monks are going in the hills and pick up some exotic skill that you can do with the body that nobody ever thought about. And then they come down for the people and let them see, and they call them jugglers. This is before the circus. So they know it's a lot of people that's high functioning witches and warlocks. Well, warlock is a misnomer. It's really witches and wizards, male and female. And they have certain capabilities that regular people will never have the ambition to develop, let alone even be aware of that their body can do. This is where you get your contortionist from, because everything that we do with the body, we have to train the body to perform. And through the training process, it's required for you to use a great amount of willpower to develop the type of physique for the function that you want it to perform. But you got to have what's called the base material. So a person that's built like let's say, a beer drinking couch potato, he's not gonna never be a contortionist. He's not gonna never have because his body has developed outside of that reality. He'll become more flexible, but he'll never become a contortionist. For one, his fat ass stomach gonna get in the way. But for the ones they start them out, they normally start them out as babies. And when they start them out as babies, you can mold the body to do stuff that once you get 6, 7, 8 years old, it won't be able to do no more. That's why gymnasts like to start at 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, because what they put their body through, my goodness, you have to break bones in order to be so flexible. That is commitment. Ballerinas too.
And I'm saying for the record, I have went back to 2017, and Wendy looked.
Yeah, I'm talking about 1999. I put it in the bag. Look at.
Why are we still talking about Wendy Williams?
I just happened to look on there. I don't know about that.
Yes. Why are we talking about Wendy?
Because I wanted to. Y'all not
she looking like a man.
I just wanted to show you, Sister Freedom. That was for you, Sister Freedom, just to say what I was saying.
I'm just saying that he gonna say,
y'all gonna leave Wendy alone.
He sounded like he the type of person in the house. Like what? Like now listen to you. His voice was like stern.
I used to like Wendy Williams. Y'all
gonna leave her alone.
Laughing about it.
She was exposing the Diddy before.
Yes. I'll give you that.
Exposing all that.
I'll give you that. She was the first one talking about it. I'll give you that. And this goes way back too.
The first one talking about what? I'm sorry.
Diddy and his parties.
Oh, what? Now, you know what? I don't like this.
Gay
Let me say this though. Let me say this though. Let me say this though. Why we do that? If they want to say something about Diddy, because Diddy been having these parties since why we gotta say something too? I mean, every time the undone man go on one of ours, we jump right on the wagon with him. We wasn't saying nothing before, but we wasn't saying nothing before that to make no big
were.
thing about it.
No. That's not true.
That's
I don't
not
think
true.
that's not true.
But
that's not true.
It went crazy once they start saying.
No. I
think
about. I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Freedom. But I do think, and this is where you and I always have this difference, right? I always tell you, just because somebody have melanin, don't make them one of ours. You understand? That just because a person is skin folk, don't make them kin folk, as the saying goes. Just because a person has hold on. Just because a person has melanin, that don't make them one of ours. That doesn't mean that they need protection. That I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Demons come in all form, shape, colors. Just because they have melanin don't make them one of ours. And I think that's the sometimes that's like the biggest aha people got to come to grips with, because we assume.
And the thing too, we didn't know.
I got it.
No, I think you missed it. What I'm trying to say is, this man been having these parties like all the rest of them. Been having these parties since parties began, and when the people at the party, they want to be there. The people that he was messing with wanted him to mess with them, because you ain't got to do what he wanted you to do. Okay.
Yeah, but then we didn't know it was all connected. We didn't know it was all connected.
We always our own worst enemies about. So soon as somebody else starts saying something about one of us, I'm not saying what he did with. Let me make sure I be clear on that. Right. I'm not saying anything that he did was correct. What I'm saying is, wasn't nobody, one of us, like making no big deal about it.
But that's not true, Sister Freedom.
That's not
just
true.
Because you're not aware. People had already turned on him when Biggie's mom exposed him. We knew he killed Biggie. Like what? People were already talking about.
A lot of people turned their back. And plus,
allegedly for the thing. So plus, you can't say that because it was us. It was people that looked like us that were exposing that. No white people were like, "Oh, Diddy killed Biggie" or anything. It was us that were like, "We don't like Diddy." Biggie's mom was like, "He's a fraud. He's doing all this stuff undercover. He did that to take the money." So it doesn't matter. You just said that no one was against him that looked like us. Now you're talking about he wasn't in jail.
I'm telling you what I said and why I'm saying it.
we were against him then because we saw the conspiracy against him with the whole, and there were people that, of course, they'd be like, oh, we love Diddy still or anything, but there was a big group of people that was against Diddy and been wanting Diddy to go under when we saw that and believed the conspiracy that he had something to do with Biggie's death.
Okay, something to do, and we knew. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just saying, now that Diddy is locked up, now that R. Kelly is locked up, now that when Bill Cosby was locked up, we really wasn't saying too much about it. That was making a big stink about it all through the.
That's not true. That's not true.
We talking about Diddy. You just brought up Cosby.
Yeah, Delaware. I could see Delaware not saying much.
That's not true.
We were seeing R. Kelly outside of the middle school, waiting on girls. Like, what is wrong with him? We were pissed about Aaliyah. Like, so maybe it's a Delaware thing. But that was so messed up about Aaliyah, and we didn't like him. We didn't like her mama. We didn't like her daddy. We didn't like her uncle. We were pissed off about Aaliyah. Aaliyah was 12 when Aaliyah was starting to be taught over there. I get it. I'm saying I get it. Delaware wasn't upset. I'm telling you that people were upset. So there were many people that were upset. Just Delaware wasn't.
No, I don't know why you making that a point, and please don't do that. What I'm saying, when I said something about Delaware, I was just being sarcastic. What I'm saying is, we just skip it because I know what I'm.
Yeah, let's skip it. Let's skip. Let's move on, y'all.
Rod, sleep. Rod, you sleep?
Because I don't know how.
I don't sleep. I rest though, but I ain't resting right now.
I'm just saying.
It's going on 1 a.m, y'all. Actually, it's going on 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we always jumping on the wagon.
Yo, Rod, I got a quick question.
But wasn't on the wagon before.
Go ahead. What's your question?
We were on the wagon.
No,
what's your take?
No,
he has a question.
Say nothing about those people until
Dean has a question. Go ahead, Dean.
What's your take on Canada and his position and Trump's position on Canada? Where you see that going?
Liquidating the corporation, Canada is part of it. America and Canada has the same QSIP number. It's the same corporation that owns both of them. So when you liquidate one, it's going to automatically liquidate the other one. So what he's telling you is that this is one landmass.
Yep.
One landmass that we was already on before they came. Before the tribes get it back, they got to tear down the corporation. The republic got to give it back to the tribal government, continuity of government, and returning of everything back to the people.
They also going after Greenland, and if y'all didn't know, the headquarters of the CIA is up in Greenland, so they trying to get to Greenland just for that too.
Well, Greenland was part of Turtle Island too.
Oh,
it's just not commonly talked about or known, but it was the closest of our bodies of land to Europe.
I asked that question because what I do really, everybody's sweating when it comes to the banking system. Right now in Canada, in Toronto alone, we're about to go on record of the most renewals for mortgages right now ever in the history.
Unbelievable.
And they're sweating right now because everybody's renewal is not going down, it's going up. And they can't afford it. And I'm telling you firsthand, because I talk to people every single day about their homes and their wallets and their largest investment. And people are
I'm also in financing. I know what you mean, bro.
They're about to lose their homes and they have to downsize. And just before in 2020 and 2022, people started buying homes. Now it's renewal time and they can't afford it.
They're
going to have to sell their homes and they're going to have to downside. But there's a lot of people right now in delinquency. There's a lot of stagnant homes that are not moving because a lot of people who are wanting to buy homes are not making any movements because they're like, I don't know. And there's this complete uncertainty. And
Yeah,
people,
because look at what happened
there's a
to
lot
the
of people
home
about to be out
insurance.
of jobs up here,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of people about to be, unfortunately, out of their homes.
Yeah,
and it's cold. It's real cold. And
Do you see
and
Canada becoming a state?
I'm with whatever. I don't really care. I'm down with it. I said I
Yes,
never really saw
they
line
don't have a
anyways. I'm indigenous.
choice.
Like to me, it's like it just needs to go back to the rightful people. Like, you know what I mean? And we're the rightful keepers of this land, this whole Turtle Island, right from South America up. We're the ones who are talking about this. We're doing this. We're doing the homework. We're the rejects. We know who we are. We're unapologetically not African. We know that. It's clear as day. Our phenotype's not the same. Our energy is not
thank
the same.
you.
We don't move the same. Our energy is not the same. Why do we do carnival the same? We jump up. We have the same feathers, the same. It's the same shit. We do the same thing. It's in our DNA. It's being expressed all the time, and we can't see it. The ignorant
Yeah,
ones in
but
our family are
the
still
only thing,
stuck. They're still
but the
stuck
only,
in that white Jesus shit. I don't even go there with them. I'm not even trying to convince them. I leave that shit alone because I know that's a mental health, and I leave that shit alone because you know why? They will slap you in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the reject. I've always been crazy, and I accept it. I must be crazy in this fucking bullshit world. Like, who doesn't see that? Right? You got to understand that. That's why I don't fight with people to educate people who want to be stuck. And unfortunately, our people are really stuck. And they got to go to the bullshit. If they want to understand YT people, they need to just understand. Start looking at the Cabbage Patch. And a lot of the white people ain't European that we see.
Right.
The Europeans that did this look just like us. And you need to understand that. Kendrick even had to tell you that. They look like they're not like us. Rod been telling you that for how many years? It flipped our head every time we found out there was a whole bunch of people that were doing some trauma to us that look just like us. Their phenotype's a little off. Their energy is definitely off. But they were doing all this trauma to us.
I told you the most traumatic thing I ever learned in all of my studies is that the white man ain't even white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about hurt feelings, talking about having a real bad attitude about something. I thought we was gonna have a party and kill Whitey, and I come to find out Whitey ain't even white.
Mm.
I got all the way up there to bop the man, and he looked like me.
Yeah. That's a hard one. And we know we're not from Africa. I love Africa. We probably got Africans in our family. But what the people over here and the indigenous people need to understand, we probably have more Black European in us than we do have African. That's what you need to accept too. Because they married right into our families.
And that's how they were stealing our stuff. Because our women would never give up no land. None of the chiefs from here would give up land. And the only way to do it is a sweetheart swindle.
Well, listen, you guys. It's been real. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. No, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We had some great conversations. We are happy to be back. Dean came up here. $2,000. You got a fan in the chat. Bad Saint said your voice. You got a radio voice. You about to make me play a slow jam.
He got
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Don't go ahead.
Don't be sorry, honey. Don't be. That's a good thing. That's a compliment.
Nah, Rod Hayes is the star tonight, ladies. Okay.
He sound like
it's kind of hard to compete with that Keith Sweat voice.
Okay, that Keith Sweat voice.
That Keith Sweat voice.
I got a question for Rod though.
And it's going to be your last question too, Grant. Okay, because we're going to close this out after.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Go ahead, you got it.
Now we was talking about the ladies earlier, so I like to keep it on that. Now they say
he look like his voice. I hope he looks like his voice.
Oh, I do.
Cam up, Buzz, bro. Hey, bro, cam up for the ladies.
That came right out my mind. I'm sorry.
So they say that we all start out as women in the womb.
100%.
100%.
That voice.
All right.
You improve it.
That's all I needed to hear right there. All right, I'm on the right path. Ladies, on hats off. Another fire conversation. Another fire show. Rod Hayes, it's always a pleasure. Last time I spoke to you, I was in Africa. I'm in Miami now, so I'm bouncing around. But
Made to the
yeah,
finish
man.
line.
Yeah, man. So thank you for all the knowledge and understanding. Keep doing the work. Keep everybody else on their toes. Ladies, again, I say again, thank you for the fire conversation. Y'all have a good night.
You're welcome.
With that voice, you're welcome anytime, okay?
Welcome, honey.
Okay, no problem.
Lil Bass ain't said for real though. I like that smooth shit.
All right, ladies. Good night.
All
Good
right.
night, Rob.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Appreciate y'all for having me. But yeah, the question that he asked, a lot of people don't know that all fetuses start off female, and it's not until the mother send a rush of testosterone, progesterone in order to switch the gender to male that they become male.
Let them know, big bro. Let them know.
And that's why these dudes be acting like broads because their coochie fell out.
Oh,
shit. Oh wow.
Shots fired.
Okay.
You know what?
In rapid succession.
Okay. Headshot. We don't miss that part.
Cold out the sniper, one shot, one kill, baby.
You heard. So make sure, guys, I have posted his Cash App. I'll do it again. Rod, check your Cash App. I sent you something. You know how we absolutely adore you. You're a big pro. Okay. Who we got up here? Who want to say bye next? Dean, you want to say bye to everyone?
Thank you, y'all. Thank you for having me up. As always, beautiful show. I hope to see y'all soon. I'm always here in the audience watching. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back soon. By Wednesday.
Rod, always one love.
For sure.
You always just like giving me keys. Like it's a beautiful thing, man. Thank you.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
What is Al Bruno talking about?
No, we're not doing that. So we're going to try. Ladies, y'all want to say anything? And then I'm going to play the theme song on out. We're going to close this down.
Okay. And thank you for coming. Thank you for spending time with us tonight.
We had Sharice on.
Yeah, where is Sharice?
She had to go.
Oh,
like we have to.
Yeah.
It is 1 o'clock.
I love her.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So we getting ready. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Rod, you already know what it is. We appreciate you. And now we're going to shut this down. Here we go, y'all. A lot of y'all like the theme song, so we're going to play it on our way out.
Yeah, who made that song?
Morpheus. Mr. Morpheus from the Force MDs.
Yes, and Freedom's daughter is the one singing.
Nuh-uh, that's not my daughter.
Oh, I thought that was
that's one of Morpheus singers.
Oh, okay.
He wrote that. Mm-hmm.
I ain't even know none of the Foursome still did music.
Yeah, he was one of the members.
Yeah, he used to be one of them.
Yeah, I'm saying I didn't know none of them was still around in the music, messing with music, but they was one of the most slept on group in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, a whole studio in it.
Love, tender love,
close to baby,
All right, sorry. Here we go, y'all. Love y'all. Good night. Here we go.
Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Nice.
Peace.